And brought to you live via St. Louis, Missouri. This is Bombers Game Mic. I'm Paul D., your broadcaster and host, and tonight the St. Louis Cardinals go up to the upper Midwest, to Minnesota, Minneapolis, specifically at Target Field, to take on the Minnesota Twins. The first of three in the final series of this road trip for the Cardinals before they return home this upcoming Monday night and take on the San Diego Padres. And on the hill, of course, for the Redbirds tonight is none other than Kyle Leahy, and the Cardinals get to face Joe Ryan, a very solid starter for all of 2026 for the Twins. But everybody here has one thing on their mind right now. Predominantly, yes, the game, yes, facing the Twins, but something much bigger than that has occurred. In the last few hours, word has come down that Nolan Gorman, who has just been generally lost at the plate, and that was very evident over this past series out against the Mets, has been optioned down to AAA Memphis. And who's getting called up? None other than Blaze Jordan, one of the top infield prospects for the Cardinals. His arrival at the big league club has been hotly anticipated. He's moved from third. They've moved him to first and then back to third. It's almost been a day-to-day, week-to-week type saga. Where are they going to put the kid? Does he have an amazing glove? Well, based on what we've seen and the moves they made with him down in AAA, the answer would be, at least not yet. However, he is a very, very capable right-handed bat. They picked him up in the Steven Matz trade during the season last year. So he came over from Boston, and he's an interesting hitter, which is to say that doesn't strike out a lot, doesn't even walk a lot, chases a lot of pitches out of the zone, but not to a point that's terribly detrimental. I think he's going to be interesting to see, because right now they really didn't have much of a choice in terms of Gorman. Gorman at the moment, whatever is going on with him, and I'm not going to pretend to know with any sort of certainty what that is, it's not good. Whether it's a swing thing, whether it's a, basically trying to quietly manage some kind of injury, I can't say. I don't have that information. What I can tell you is this about Blaze Jordan. Down at AAA Memphis this year, the dude is hitting .313 with 11 long balls and 35 RBIs. He's walked 19 times. He's only struck out 29 times. And this is over 230 official at-bats. I'm not even counting plate appearances. In terms of plate appearances this year, he's at 252. So this is a guy who very consistently puts the ball in play. Doesn't like striking out, doesn't like walking. He tends to put the bat on the ball for better or worse. And unfortunately, Nolan Gorman, with only a very few exceptions here in the last 10 days to be certain, has largely almost been an automatic out. And tonight, Blaze Jordan is going to be starting at third. He is batting eighth in the Cardinal order tonight against Joe Ryan and the Minnesota Twins. So let me head on over to the chat. If you're just joining me here, join the Game Mic roll call. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. A lot of Blaze Jordan talk. Well, Ronald Lyle has let us off, of course, before we began, so cheers to the Green Mountain State. Alan, Blaze Jordan, the new third baseman. He's going to get the look now. Gino, this is going to be interesting with Blaze Jordan in the lineup. Can't miss TV, of sorts. Tipsy, Blaze. That seems to be the name of the day. I've showed up. Hope I am not too late. No, you're not too late, Ethan. No worries. Richard, good to see ya. Is JC in Memphis right now? Yeah, last I checked. In fact, Hunter Dobbins also got sent down, interestingly enough. I think it just has to do with not having to carry basically a null arm in the bullpen because he just started yesterday. And in favor of him, the corresponding move on the roster is the right-handed pitcher, Chris Roykoff. I think he's like 27, 28 years old, right-hander. Big guy, too. Like 6'7", 230 pounds. Big friggin' dude. But that's where they are at the moment. Let me get back to Chet here. That's a good spot for him to start and no pressure. Plus, we need help in the bottom of the lineup. Yeah, absolutely. And it's improved greatly through a flurry of moves that we've all seen. But, ultimately, Robert Weller is in the house. Niceville, Florida has entered the chat. So if you're just joining us here today, we are about 3.5 minutes away from scheduled first pitch. Join the Game Mike roll call. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. So I get the feeling everybody here, of course, is very much anticipating the Major League debut of Blaze Jordan. Down at third, Gorman is now on his way. I'm sure he's actually already there in AAA Memphis. And that's kind of the story at the moment. DJ Nick Fly made it in time for the start of the game. Evening, Paul from Sparta, Missouri. Cheers, Sparta, Missouri. Let's go, Cardinals. Cheers to that. Charlie Acosta. Good to see you, Charlie. This Blaze is a stud. Can't wait to see him with the big boys. He's got a heck of an arm and a bat to go with him. I've been waiting for this since last summer. I hope he completely levels up and exceeds billing, I can assure you. Let's see, I'm in Largo, but I'm heading back to Missouri Sunday to catch the Cardinals, Royals, and Kansas City Thursday. Yeah, that's right. It's actually kind of a strange series because Game 1-2 of that series are on Thursday, Friday. There's kind of a unicorn off day on the Saturday, which you almost never see, and then they complete the game on the Sunday out there in KC. Alan, so when you leaving, aren't you just going to the studio soon, Nick? Aren't you just going to do audio soon next week? Okay, good question, Alan. That begins tomorrow afternoon. I, along with Mrs. Game Mike, are on a 5 a.m. flight tomorrow morning, and we need to be at Lambert at like 3:30 in the morning. It's not going to be fun. I'm not going to be sleeping tonight, presumably, because this game will end between 9:30 and 10. And when you have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to get rolling, it's just, ugh. So I doubt I'll be sleeping tonight, but I hope I have a Cardinal win to carry with me on Mrs. Game Mike tonight's flight tomorrow morning. All right, we are just under a minute away from scheduled first pitch out there at Citi Field. Joe Ryan, the righty for the Twins, is on the mound. An ERA a little over 3. His last 6 starts, he has given the Twins 6 innings or more. In each of those starts, has more than a strikeout an inning. A legitimate talent on the mound. I would call it, as I like to say, that's going to be a tough Sudoku, potentially. So that's the story right now, and Blaze Jordan is going to get his shot. And I think we are all waiting with anticipation to see how that goes down. John from Wentzville, Missouri. Cheers, John, and Wentzville, Missouri. Howdy, all. I noticed 14 teams over 500, 5 in the AL and 9 in the AL. That's crazy. Yeah, the AL has been like that for quite a while this year. It's just bizarre. Rodney Singer. Hello, folks. Hello, Rodney Singer. So we are just a moment away here from scheduled first pitch. And we're going to give you here the starting lineup for the Cardinals. Leading off at second, J.J. Weatherall. Batting second at DH is Ivan Herrera. Batting third at first base is Alec Burleson. Batting cleanup in right field is none other than Jordan Walker. Batting fifth in left is Lars Nootbaar. Batting sixth at shortstop is Mason Wynn. Batting seventh behind the dish is Jimmy Crooks. Batting eighth, making his major league debut at third base, is Blaze Jordan. And batting ninth in center field is Nathan Church. Now, for the Twins, leading off in left is Larnach. Batting second in center field is Byron Buxton. Batting third in right field, Clemens. Batting fourth at DH, Bell. Batting fifth at first base, Lewis. Batting sixth behind the dish is Caratini. Batting seventh at third base is Lee. Batting eighth at shortstop is Gray. And batting ninth and playing second is Keshal. So that is your respective starting lineups here tonight. J.J. Weatherall finishing up on the on-deck circle. Here comes Joe Ryan. In 14 starts, he's 4-3 with a 3.07 ERA, 16 walks against 84 strikeouts, and a whip of exactly 1. And tonight, the Minnesota Twins are wearing their should-be maligned City Connect jerseys. These things just do not look good. I can't even explain it to you. It's just a Nike mess. Okay. Are they leading at the moment in double plays? Double plays induced or hitting into double plays? I guess is really the question. So, Larnach in left, Buxton in center, Clemens in right, Lee at third, Gray at short, Keshal at second, Lewis at first, Caratini behind the dish, and the starter tonight for the Twins, none other than Joe Ryan. So getting ready to step into the box is the leadoff hitter tonight for the Cardinals. Their second baseman, their rookie sensation, I would say. The man that looks like he has been here for years, though he's only been here for about 2.5 months, J.J. Weatherall. When that happens, it will be a righty-lefty matchup. But that's what it is. Hey, David Hodge, good to see you. Let's go Cardinals indeed. So just a moment here. Yep, there's JJ. He's stepping into the box. This guy is kind of funny. Old Joe Ryan here, doing some weird stretches on the mound. Trying to get those pecs loose, I'm assuming. He comes to the full one. The first pitch to JJ. Hit to the left side, giving chase to the third baseman into foul territory, and it drops just beyond his reach, very nearly the first out, but it is just the first strike, and the count is 0-1. If you're just joining me here on Game Mike, joining us here on Game Mike, join the Game Mike roll call in the chat. Let me know where you're watching or listening from. Back into the boxes, Weatherall. He's hitting .248, 9 home runs, 27 RBIs through 62 games, a .743 OPS. Ryan begins his full wind, the 0-1. Called strike on a splitter, down and in at the knees to J.J. Weatherall, and the count is now no balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. The leadoff hitter, J.J. Weatherall, in the box against Joe Ryan, who was just rocking both of his arms back and forth. Here's the 0-2. Upstairs, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. The count is 1-2. Choir guy. This is not the Mets. What are the chances of winning this series? I think it's just fine. Remember, the Twins are 8 games under 500. Here's the 1-2. Swinging strike, 3 on the splitter, down and in for the first out of the inning. So as I was mentioning to you in the start there, Joe Ryan here is no pushover. The guy has more than a strikeout an inning, and ERA just a little over 3. He does not walk very many guys. He attacks the zone. He has good swing and miss stuff. He'll make you chase. Now, here's the right-handed hitter, Ivan Herrera. He's hitting .262. It's a righty-righty matchup. Coming winds Ryan. He deals. A sweeper away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. Through 66 games, he's hitting .262 with 7 home runs, 28 RBIs, and .803 OPS this year for Ivan Herrera. He is at DH tonight. Crooks is behind the plate. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Up and away and out of the zone. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. The count is 2-0. One out with nobody on here in the top of the first inning. Joe Ryan is up. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the pitch. Called a strike. Four-seam fastball down and in at the knees to the righty Herrera. And the count is 2-1 strike. Something of a light crowd initially out at Target Field tonight. But it seems a fine night for baseball in Minnesota. Ryan has his sign. Catcher sets up on the outside corner. He comes wide. Here's the 2-1. Foul back behind the plate on a four-seam fastball just a little bit away, and the count is even at 2 strikes. Am I going on vacation? I am not going on vacation. Nope. Business purposes only. So it's a 2-2 count with one on, nobody out. Here's a 2-2 to Herrera. A sweeper down and away and over the left batter's box, and the count is now full. 3 strikes. One thing that seems abundantly clear is that Joe Ryan's one of those guys where you really do benefit from working the count. You need to do it. Here's the 3-2. Foul down the first base side and out of play on the four-seam fastball away, 96 miles an hour. The count remains 3-2. Hit the likes and subscribe. Thank you, everyone. Paul and Mrs. Paul, have a great trip. Well, thank you, John. Mrs. Gay, Mike, and I, even though I have to go for largely business purposes, are very much looking forward to it. Here's the 3-2. Chopped down the first base side and out of play on the sinker away. The count remains 3-2. Back into the boxes, Herrera. Back on the rubber is Joe Ryan. Herrera's been working him. Here's a 3-2. Hit to the right side, coming over towards the right fielder, and he makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So a strikeout and a flyout for the 1-2 spots here in the order here in the top of the first inning. Now comes Alec Burleson, who has been on a very, very strong streak here. He's definitely got the hitting streak going. This guy is definitely more than making his case to be an all-star in a month. And however he does it, I hope he makes it. He's hitting .290. Here's the first pitch from Ryan. Well inside, a sweeper, 82 miles per hour for a ball. The count is 1-0. Did I see that Victor Scott is in AAA? Yes, absolutely, Ethan. Coming sets Ryan. Here's the 1-0. A splitter down and in the dirt, 88 miles an hour. The count is 2-0 to Alec Burleson. Nobody on with 2 outs, top of the first inning. There is no score up in Target Field in this first of 3 in the weekend set. The 2-0 from Ryan. Strike, four-seam fastball in the outside corner at the knees. The count is 2-1. That was clocked at 96 miles an hour. The home plate umpire has something of a generous strike zone tonight. You kind of feel like this might turn into a little bit of a battle of the ABS. That much is certain. Well, it's not certain yet, but it sure looks that way. Ryan winds and deals. Hit out there to right center field. Going back, looking up, and it is long gone. A solo home run for Alec Burleson. He goes into the upper deck in right center field at Target Field. Oh, Burley sent that into the next area code. And now the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead. Oh, Alec Burleson, the 4th home run in his 4th game in a row. He has been on fire in this homestand. And Ryan put it up and away, and Alec Burleson just went and did Alec Burleson things with it. 1-0 Cardinals, top of the first. Bring out the muster indeed, David. 4-game streak. Here's the first pitch to Walker. Four-seam fastball called strike. Once again, generous corners here by the home plate umpire tonight. And yeah, Alec Burleson's wearing the pendant in the dugout. Here's the 0-1, swinging strike on the slider, down and away, 87 miles an hour. Count is 0-2. We're beginning to see more teams and pitchers try to exploit that breaking ball down and away to Jordan Walker. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Jordan Walker, who's hitting 302 on the year, which I think is pretty darn impressive. Nobody on with 2 out. 1-0 Cardinals. Coming winds Ryan. He deals. Hit to the left side. Fielded there at short on a couple hops. He throws to first just in time for the third and final out of the inning. But not before Alec Burleson deposits one in the upper deck in right center field after 1/2 inning of play. It is the St. Louis Cardinals 1 and the Minnesota Twins coming to bat. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mic. Let's go to the chat. Okay, he's a beast. Yes, he is, Robert. Yes, he is. Ethan, I'm actually really sad that Nolan Gorman is not doing good. After having 27 home runs his rookie year, it looked like he was having he was going to be a generational talent. I don't fully, Ethan, honestly, I don't really know what the heck is going on with him right now. Is it a swing mechanics thing? Is it a quietly managing some kind of injury that it impacts it, the kind of thing? Is it all between the ears? Is it all 3 or 2 of 3? It could be anything. Nobody wanted to see this. And certainly nobody is rooting for a guy to get sent down. But in many ways, just given how lost he was at the plate, they kind of forced his hand. I remember yesterday, one of the strikeouts he had, he swung through it on a pitch that was literally up and in, even with the birds, just kind of like flailing at it. It was clear that he was pressing. It was clear that he was lost at the plate. So whatever he needs to do, I truly hope, if only for him, say nothing of the Cardinals and Cardinal Nation more generally, I hope he figures it out. Yeah. Team rarely gives up a game. What's going on with For Life? For Life, what's happening here? Hello, everyone. If everyone could, my family needs prayers, please. Hey, For Life, you got it right here. You got it right here. Here's Kyle Leahy. I believe it was about a 4.24 ERA on the year. Here's the first pitch. Strike, down and away, outside corner. To the lefty Larnach. Count is no balls, 1 strike. So bottom of the first inning, here is Kyle Leahy. He comes wide. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. Slider down and in for a ball, 89 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Yes, he did look that way, Sam. Yes, he did. Trevor Larnach, 256 on the year. Here's the 1-1. A changeup down and out of the zone, 91 miles an hour. The count is 2-1. White Shadow, what's up, Cardinal Nation, and my man Paul? Hey, here's a pitch. Hit down the third base side. Giving chase over there is Blaze Jordan, but it's well beyond his reach. There's a lot of foul territory in both left and right field at Target Field. They have that same kind of inlet about halfway up right and left, kind of similar to Busch Stadium, except there's a much more expansive foul room there. Not many batting titles outside of Joe Mauer. Here's the 2-2. Swinging strike 3. Down goes Larnach for the first out of the inning. What's up, my main man, Paul? Just here calling Cardinal games. I have a very long day and a half ahead of me. I can tell you that right now, White Shadow. All prayers and loves. Absolutely, Robert. Eric Boyce. One moment, I'll get to you. Here's the first pitch to Byron Buxton. Hit on out there to center field, going back in front of the track, looking up, and it is gone. A solo home run for Byron Buxton. And now the Minnesota Twins have tied it up at 1. He sent that thing deep into the batter's eye with all the forestry out there, mostly evergreen pine. Easily about 420 feet in a very big ballpark. Byron Buxton ties up the game at 1. Okay. Eric Boyce. Hey, Bomber. Prayers goes out to Northwest Nebraska as they do have a bad wildfire that That's not giving up, sadly. Absolutely, Eric. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike to the lefty Clemens, who's hitting 245. And the count is 0-1, righty-lefty matchup. We're all tied at 1 with 1 out and nobody on here in the bottom of the first inning. Now, here's a pitch from Leahy. Chop foul over towards the twin on-deck circle on a curveball in. The count is 0-2. Bombers, sometimes a player can lose touch of what worked before. Then you end up searching. Yeah, it happens for all of them at some point in their career. The good ones make sure it doesn't last too long, but sometimes things can get really out of whack. You just hope he can figure it out. So the lefty Clemens is back in the box. Leahy has a headed count 0-2. Four-seam fastball up and away, 95 miles per hour for a ball. Count is 1-2. Prayers for my brother Steve as he has had heart surgery Thursday. By all means, Alan. By all means. The 1-2. Change up down and away for a ball, 90 miles an hour. The count is even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Coming set is Leahy. He's at the full line. Righty-lefty matchup against lefty Clemens. Here's a pitch. There's a fly ball out there to left field. Underneath it is Newpar for the second out of the inning. Now here comes the lefty Bell, hitting 229 on the year, a 648 OPS. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. Coming sets Leahy with nobody on, 2 outs, all tied at 1. From the full wind, he deals. Foul back towards the third base side now to play on the slider. The count is 0-1. Back into the box is Bell. Coming sets Leahy, the 0-1. Swinging strike on a four-seam fastball down and away, 96 miles per hour from Leahy. And the count is no balls, 2 strikes. Leahy is looking in, shakes him off a few times. He comes wine, the 0-2. A sweeper in the dirt that bounces out in front of home plate. The count is 1-2. I don't know where I'm going. Kind of reminds me of Nolan Arenado just because he has name Nolan. I thought they looked alike. What are your thoughts on this? Get to that in a moment, Ethan. The 1-2. Check swing on the curveball down and in. Did he go? Yes, says the home plate umpire. Excuse me, the third base umpire for the third and final out of the inning. However, Byron Buxton deposits one to center field out there at Target Field to tie the game at 1. We head to the top of the second inning. 1 run, 1 hit, no walks, nobody left on. All tied at 1 heading to the top of the second inning. I'm Paul D. And this is Bombers Game Mike. Well, let's put it this way. Nolan Arenado was, especially in his prime, was pretty awesome. I don't know that I can really make comparisons based on performance alone. Yes, they share the first name, but the number disparity there is pretty considerable. Tucson, Arizona's in the house. Good to see you, Roger. Scott Reed, Biloxi, again, for life. 31 likes, 143 people. Hit that button, everybody. Thank you so much for life. And you definitely have me with your family right there. Okay. Let's see here. Justin Beasley. Hello, chat. Hello, Paul. Hello, Justin Beasley. It is always a pleasure to see you here. Yeah, we got a couple of whistle times on that one, Roger. Leahy attacked Bell with a plan there. 16 pitches, 2 strikeouts. You know, with the exception of the solo home run, he did actually look better than I've really seen him in a while. So much more purposeful. Arenado will go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, third baseman. I wish him well. He still is playing. He's out there in Arizona. He's definitely one of the foremost third basemen of his generation, to be sure, and has well earned all of his laudits and laurels, beyond question. We head to the top of the second inning. Due up is Lars Nootbaar, followed by Mason Wynn, and then Jimmy Crooks. Ryan is on the belt for his second frame. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch to Nootbaar. Hit to the right side and into right field for a base hit. Given a big round turn around first, but he stays right there. And Lars Nootbaar has a leadoff single for the Cardinals in the top of the second inning. He just left one out over the plate for Newt, and he deposited out there in right field. Now here comes Mason Wynn, the righty hitting shortstop for St. Louis. We're all tied at 1 in the top of the second inning. Up at Target Field in Minneapolis. Cummins sets Ryan from the stretch. He deals. Strike, slider, outside corner at the knees. The count is 0-1. Mason's hitting .232 on this campaign. Righty-righty matchup. Cummins set his Ryan from the stretch. The 0-1. Upstairs and away. A four-seam fastball out of the zone. 94 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Lars leading off, doing his thing. You know it. 2 home runs, 25 RBIs, .232 this year for Mason Wynn. The 1-1. Hit on up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Buxton pulls it on in and tosses it, and now there are runners on first and second with nobody out in the top of the second inning. And here comes the lefty hitting catcher, Jimmy Crooks, who, if you remember yesterday, deposited a 2-run home run to right center field at Citi Field. So it's a righty-lefty matchup. Jimmy Crooks hitting .182 on the year, albeit a very short year for him. He hasn't really been in the big leagues that long. 4 for 22 through 7 games. 1 home run, 4 RBIs, a .614 OBS for Jimmy Crooks. From the stretch is Ryan, righty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. Well upstairs, a four-seam fastball clear out of the zone about helmet high, luckily nowhere near his head. And the count is 1-0. We got runners on first and second with nobody out after a succession of singles by Nootbaar, then Mason Wynn. Looking in and coming set at the stretch is Ryan. Here's the 1-0. Foul tipped and rolled over towards the Twins on deck circle. The count is 1-1. I will return to you all in a moment, undoubtedly. Coming set is Ryan. The pitch. Foul tipped and into the glove, and that'll be the second strike, so Crooks just gets a piece of that thing. So Jimmy Crooks has himself in a hole 1-2. It's been interesting watching Jimmy Crooks develop on the major league level. It's been just slight progressions here and there, tightening up his approach and his overall game. Very interesting to watch. Coming set is Ryan, the 1-2. A splitter well down and in the dirt, clocked at 89 miles an hour, and the count is now even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Back onto the bump is Ryan. Coming set above the belt. The 2-2 to Crooks. Hit on out there to center field. Underneath it is Buxton. He makes the catch there on a line. And that'll be the first out of the inning. Nootbaar and Wynn stay right there. It's quite all right, Ethan. We'll be here when you get back. Now here's Blaze Jordan. 313, 11 home runs, 20-something RBIs, 23 years old. He's 6'1", 220 pounds. So he's definitely a bit husky. But I think that probably contributes to his game in some meaningful way. Not out of shape. He's just kind of a big dude at 6'1". Runners lead off first and second with one out. Ryan is from the stretch. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball down and away, 95 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. So this is Blaze Jordan's first major league at-bat, or rather plate appearance. We'll see if it's an at-bat. Coming set is Ryan. The 0-1. Just off the plate, a four-seam fastball away, 95 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. So this is going to be interesting to watch. The guy doesn't strike out much, doesn't walk much. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A knuckle curve down and away, clear out of the zone, 81 miles per hour from Joe Ryan. The count is 2-1. He's been known to chase out of the zone, which is interesting for a guy that doesn't strike out much or walk much. Coming sets Ryan, the 2-1. Just off the plate, a sinker, 95 miles an hour. Blaze Jordan has himself in a classic hitter's count here against Joe Ryan. 3 balls and 1 strike. Runners on first and second with 1 out, all tied at 1 here in the top of the second inning. Coming set is the righty Ryan from the stretch, and he bluffs back towards second. And Nootbaar just takes a quick Texas 2-step back to the bag. There was nobody covering. I get the feeling that in all likelihood he was just not on the same page as his battery mate. 32 pitches so far for Ryan. Coming set, the 3-1. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball on the outside corner. And the count is 3-2. Had he not swung, that most certainly would have been ball 4 in all likelihood. So we're getting to understand a bit more about his approach to the plate here. He has a full count with runners on first and second and 1 out. Heck of a first major league at-bat. Coming sets Joe Ryan, the 3-2. Hit down the first base side and out of play on the four-seam fastball away, clocked at 96 miles an hour. And the count remains full, 3-2 with runners on first and second, 1 out. We're all tied at 1 in the top of the second inning. The Alec Burleson solo job in the top of the first and the Byron Buxton solo job in the bottom of the first. All tied at 1 up in target field in the first of 3. Coming set is Ryan. The 3-2. Hit on up the middle and through for a base hit. Fielding it there is Buxton. Coming home is Nootbaar. And that will give the Cardinals a 2-1 lead. Oh, Blaze Jordan just absolutely scorched that one up the middle, and we now have a 2-1 Cardinal lead. His first major league hit, his first major league ribeye right there. It was down and in. He just dropped the barrel on it, put it right up the middle with the big hole there, and now the Cardinals have runners. Let's see. Well, they have a 2-1 lead. I think it's still runners on first and second. But a beautiful job there by Blaze Jordan in his first major league at-bat. Runners are on first and second with 1 out in the top of the second. 2-1 Cardinals after them. First MLB hit and the first run batted in the major league career of Blaze Jordan. Though interestingly enough, he's not the only major leaguer at the moment who has the first name Blaze. There's also Blaze Alexander for the Orioles. Interesting tidbit to be sure. 35 pitches so far for Ryan. And Nate Church, the left-handed center fielder in the 9 spots, heading into the box. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup. Nate Church hitting .253 on the year. Once again, runners on first and second, coming set at the stretch. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch to Church. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball up and away, 94 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. Yes, indeed, everybody. I see you all, and it's awesome. Coming set is Ryan. Here's the 0-1. Up and away, four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. At the stretch is Ryan, the 1-1. Chopped down the first base side and out of play on the splitter, down and in, 89 miles an hour. And so Nate Church has himself in a hole, 1-2 here to Joe Ryan. The Cardinals have been doing exactly what they've needed to do at the plate, which is work this guy. Be patient. Take what he gives you. The 1-2. Fouled down the third base side and out of play on the four-seam fastball, up 95 miles per hour. The count remains 1-2. I love the Wizard, but I knew whoever followed him was probably going to a rough road. It's never easy replacing an all-time legend. That much is certain. Coming sets Ryan at the stretch. The 1-2 to Church. Well inside. A splitter clear out of the zone. In fact, Church had to slightly get out of the way of the thing. The count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. The blazing baby birds. I love it. Coming set. The 2-2. Swinging strike 3 on the splitter, down and in. It was clear in the dirt. However, Nate Church chases, swings over the top of it for the second out of the inning. Now for his second at-bat in as many innings, here's J.J. Wetherell, who's 0 for 1. 41 pitches for Ryan in 1 2/3 inning of work. JJ's hitting .247 with 9 home runs, 27 RBIs in 62 games, a .740 OPS. He definitely deserves an all-star berth this year. Cummins sets Ryan. The first pitch. A sweeper down and in, clearing out of the zone. The count is 1-0. 50 likes, 208 people watching. Hit that like button, everyone. Thank you so much for life. I really hope you are doing well right now. Back onto the rubber is Joe Ryan. He comes set at the stretch. Runners on first and second with 2 out. Here's the pitch. Hit to the right side and into right field for a base hit. Fielded by the right fielder. Coming home is Win. There is no play at home. And caught up between second and third was Blaze Alexander. So the run scores, and the Cardinals now have a 3-1 lead. So here we are. That will do it. So unfortunately for Blaze Alexander, he makes himself a bit of a running gaffe here. Here comes Joe Madden to complain about this. For whatever reason, they're currently showing runners on first and third, and the umpires are going through this with Joe Madden. So let's give this a moment. Let's see what the case is here. Obstruction. Right now, the umpires have ruled that the shortstop obstructed the baseline because Blaze Jordan and the shortstop actually slightly collided, so they have awarded him third on the play. And that'll put runners on first and third with 2 out in the top of the second inning. And the Cardinals have a 3-1 lead. Justin Beasley, a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Justin. You do so much when you come here. You're just an amazing presence, and that is incredibly generous, and I thank you so much. So, Blaze Jordan is awarded third on the play after an interference call by the shortstop interfering with the baseline. And now here comes Ivan Herrera for his second at-bat in as many innings. He's 0 for 1. Runners on first and third with 2 out, top of the second inning. 3-1 Cardinals. Coming stretch is Ryan. It's a righty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch to Herrera. A sweeper down and away and out of the zone, 83 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. That was the 44th pitch. Ivan Herrera hitting .261 with 7 home runs, 28 RBIs through 66 games, and 800 OPS. Coming set is Ryan, the 1-0. A sweeper down and away, once again out of the zone. Very similar to the previous pitch. Clocked at 81 miles an hour. The count is 2-0. So right now the Cardinals are doing all the right things. Being patient, working the count, and then when they get their pitch to hit, so far they have not missed it. Coming set at the stretch is Ryan. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Called strike. Sinker outside corner. Just whispered over the black knee high. And the count is 2-1. I have to wear a suit at your business. Well, you know, it's funny you should mention that, Alan. For the most part, every time I do travel, regardless of airlines or whatever it is, I actually always dress to fly. It's very unusual that I don't. And for a good many reasons. I remember with something that my mom who taught me growing up, because she traveled a great deal throughout her life. And she always said, Paul, when you're dressing to travel, especially when you fly, you know, dress nicely. Invariably, actually, you'll probably are less likely to be treated like cattle, which unfortunately seems often to be the case. All right. So there's a slight delay there, a little hubbub there between Ryan and the home plate umpire. It's a 2-1 count to Ivan Herrera. That, and I just like dressing nicely for travel. It just makes you feel good. You know, even if you have to be at the airport at 3:30 in the morning. But that's kind of standard operating procedure for me. All right, it's a 2-1 count. Back in the box is Herrera. Runners on first and third with 2 outs. A 3-1 Cardinal lead. Already 2 in here in the top of the second for the Redbirds. Coming sets Ryan. He deals. A slider well down and away and over the lefty batter's box. And now Ivan Herrera has himself in a solid hitter's count. He is ahead 3 balls and 1 strike with runners on first and third with 2 out. 2 already in. It's a 3-1 Cardinal lead. Coming set is Ryan, the 3-1. Chopped over towards second, fielded there on a pair of hops. He throws to first in time to end the inning. But not before the Cardinals push 2 more across, and not before Blaze Jordan gets his first major league hit and RBI. It is 3-1 Cardinals after 1.5 innings of play. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mic. Let's go to the chat. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I apologize if I don't get to everything all at once. It's just between innings. Sometimes you guys are just letting it out there. I love it, but sometimes I can have a little difficulty following. J.M. Jones, howdy, folks. Howdy, J.M. Jones. Welcome back. Let's see here. Okay. Alrighty, let's see. I apologize, guys. I apologize. I'm just going through all this, trying to figure out what I missed. All right. Hey, Thurman is here. Our friend that's retired to Uganda. Welcome back, Thurman. Ronald, Lyle, 230 people watching. Let's get to 100 likes. I like the way you're thinking so much, Ronald. So right now, I think this has been an extremely exciting game. We have been blessed with a third baseman at the moment who seems pretty locked in at the plate. He did not look overmatched at any point in his at-bat there against Joe Ryan. It was actually really a pleasure to see. Now we're going to see what he's like out there on defense, which I know can be a little shaky. Apparently he's been working on it, but, you know, you get moved from third to first, then back to third. That's not fun. Not going to pretend it is, but hey, in his first opportunity, he came to impress. Now the first baseman, Lewis, is leading off here in the bottom of the second inning. It'll be a righty-righty matchup. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Lewis, who's hitting 187 on the year. 596 OPS. On the bump is Kyle Leahy. He comes one. Here's the first pitch to Lewis. Up and away a sinker, 93 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Righty-righty matchup. He comes one, the 1-0 pitch. Strike on the outer third, about thigh high, a four-seam fastball, 95 miles per hour from Leahy. The count is 1-1. Leahy wants, he deals. There's a fly ball out to left center field. Going back, tracking it down in front of the wall. Underneath it is Church, and he makes the catch directly at the wall for the first out of the inning. And I hate to mention this to you guys, but it's starting to rain up at Target Field. I will keep you posted on how this all goes down. However, should they delay this game at any point in time, while with play in action, I will keep going until there is no reason to continue. Here's the first pitch to Caratini. Swinging strike on the slider, down and in. The count is 0-1. The left-handed catcher, Caratini's hitting .213 with 3 home runs, 23 RBIs through 50 games, a .607 OPS. Is Victor Caratini. It's a righty-lefty matchup with the lefty Caratini on the mound. Now here's the 0-1. A changeup in the dirt, actually bounced out in front of home plate. The count is 1-1. Kevin in Sterling, Colorado, enjoying your broadcast again. Goes Birds on a bat. Cheers, Kevin. Glad to have you. Righty-lefty matchup. Leahy waits for his call. Here's the 1-1. Head out to right field. Going over towards the stands is Jordan Walker towards the line, and it is a foul ball, and it missed only by a couple of feet. Jordan Walker tossed the ball there to a fan in the front row stand, basically buying himself a career worth of all-star votes with that act alone. Count is 1-2. But yeah, it's raining, and it looks like it could get heavier. I haven't checked the weather up in Minneapolis at the moment. If there's anybody in the chat that's feeling up to taking a look at what the forecast is in Minneapolis and letting me know in the chat, I would consider it a personal favorite. Here's the 1-2 to Caratini. Swinging strike 3. Down goes Caratini for the second out of the inning. So with the exception of the big fly to Byron Buxton, which is, no dishonor whatsoever, it is Brian Buxton, Kyle Leahy's been looking pretty dialed in here. I've been able to play that whistle quite a few times here in a 1 2/3 inning of work. Coming wind. Here's the first pitch to the lefty, Lee. A sweeper strike right down Broadway. Clocked at 84 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the second, 3-1 Cardinals. Here in the first of 3, it's raining. Here's the 0-1. Hit down the left field side. Giving chase there is Newpar into foul territory. He's under it right against the stands for the third and final out of the inning. Down in order are the Twins. No runs, no hits, no walks. Nobody left on. We head to the top of the third inning. It is 3-1 Redbirds out at Target Field against the Twins. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my broadcast here of Game Mike as your broadcaster and host, please do leave a like. It helps this growing channel out a ton. I very much appreciate it. If you want to see more, we'd love to have you in our cast of characters here in Game Mike. Just hit subscribe and come on back. You're welcome here anytime. With that being said, 3-1 Cardinals going to the top of the third. Allen, looks like heavy rain. Delay incoming. Looks like the rain will increase and last a while. Go USA tonight, 2. Yeah, good point, Josh. Yes, absolutely. What do I do during a delay? You know what? I think the word we're going for here, since I haven't had to do one yet, Ethan, is what they call in theater circles, improv. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to subject you to improv. I think we're just going to talk about Cardinals and whatever else is necessary to pass the time for anybody that's interested. But this stream will continue. And boy, I hope the delay isn't terribly long. Oh, Justin. No, there's not going to be an AI version of me. No, nope. You're just getting the audio only. But you'll be experiencing everything you do already, including with interactions in the chat. That's fundamental what I do here at Game Mike. Rather, what we do, certainly. And we'll roll with that. But play hasn't been stopped yet. And leading off here is Alec Burleson, followed by Jordan Walker and Lars Nootbaar. The Cardinals have a 3-1 lead. Let's do Trivia Cardinal. Here's the pitch to Burleson. Strike, inside corner, a splitter, about knee high. The count is 0-1 to the slugging first baseman. Man, 12 games hitting .370 with 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. Here's the 0-1. Chop foul down the first base side and out of play, and the sweeper up and in, 88 miles an hour. Count is 0-2. Yeah, it's basically going to be old-time radio call, but you'll have a score bug and all the visuals, and the audio will be good. Here's the 0-2 to Burleson. Chop fouled over towards the Twins on deck circle on the splitter, down and away. Clocked at 88 miles an hour. The count is no balls, 2 strikes. So nobody on, nobody out. Top of the third inning, 3-1 Cardinals. They have been working Joe Ryan here. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Check swing on the sweeper away. Called a ball, held his bat there. And the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Alec Burleson. That was the 52nd pitch here tonight for Joe Ryan in 2+ innings of work. He's to the full wind. The 1-2 pitch. Swinging strike 3. Down goes Burleson for the first out of the inning. That was clocked at 88 miles per hour from Joe Ryan. That's the first out. Yes, we do. They need to get 5 innings. And if it's going to be that, so be it. Just hope the Cardinals are ahead. Now, here's Jordan Walker. He's 0-for-1 tonight. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch. Well outside, a slider, 85 miles an hour. Went slightly over the lefty batter's box there. The count is 1-0. Nobody on, 1 out. It's a 1-0 count. Ryan comes wind. He deals. Outside corner, four-seam fastball, clear out of the zone. Count is 2-0. 0 for 1 with the ground out. Hitting .301 with 17 home runs, 52 RBIs through 65 games. A .916 OPS. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And that is a ball. The home plate umpire looked to his right, but he didn't signal anything. There's nothing worse than a home plate umpire that is ambiguous with his strike call. Here's the 3-0. Four-seam fastball strike right down Broadway, 94 miles an hour. The count is 3-1, which is funny because my favorite all-time umpire that I saw officiate was Tim McClellan. And he was very well known for not being demonstrative. He was just a really good umpire. Here's the 3-1. Hit out to right field and down the line. It is slice and foul. And the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Jordan Walker. Of course, Tim McClellan, I believe, retired back in 2013. He earned it. He was at quite a few inauspicious moments in his umpiring career, including the whole time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Jordan Walker. The whole pine tar incident and the Sammy Sosa corked back incident. Now here's the 3-2 from Ryan. Swinging strike 3 on the slider, down and away, and that'll be the second out of the inning. I thought Minnesota had a dome too. They stopped playing at the Metrodome at the end of 2009, and the rain is starting to come down harder. You kind of get the feeling that they just want to get this one in. Now here's Lars Nootbaar. He's 1 for 1. Here's the pitch. Strike splitter outside corner at the knees to the lefty Nootbaar, and the count is 0-1. 261 with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs through 6 games, a .979 OPS for Newt. Righty-lefty matchup. Coming wind is Ryan. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Called a strike on a splitter down and in just below the knees. Like I said, it was a bit of a generous call there, but Newt is certainly not challenging it. And the count is no balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on, 2 out. Top of the third. 3-1 Cardinals. It is raining out there at Target Field. Back in the box is Newt. Ryan winds and deals. A splitter down and in for a ball at 88 miles an hour. Hey, Q-Man is in the house. Dixon, Missouri has entered the chat. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Hit out up there to center field. Moving over a couple steps is Buckton. He hauls it in for the third and final out of the inning. The Cardinals, they go down in order, and after 2.5 innings of play, it is the St. Louis Cardinals 3 and the Minnesota Twins 1. So we're seeing if we're going to get this one in. Let's go to the chat. Hey, good to see you, Trisk. Welcome back. Don't give it any second thought, Ethan. It's quite all right. The Fire Phoenix. They might delay it soon. Unfortunately, well, first off, cheers to the Pacific Northwest, of course. But yes, I think you might be right. Evening, everyone. Hey, KCM is here. Good to see you. Yeah, and Q-Man, how you feeling? How's the oral pain? I hope you're doing all right. Man, you are tough. Very tough. Here's a shocker. The Mets are leading Atlanta. Yeah, actually, that really is choir guy. I think it's the first series they played against them this year, if I remember correctly. Oh, that's funny, Samuel. Jordan asked if it was a strike. Said it is raining. Very, very good. Well, we await the bottom of the third inning here. Yeah, I think it is in Atlanta. As a matter of fact, I do think it is. I could be wrong about that. It's been known to happen. Let's see. Where are those Metsies? No, they're playing it in New York, actually. So that's cool, I guess. Believe me, I come from 2 fandoms that have, not the highest opinion of the Mets, to be sure. Certainly not this year. Now, here's the first pitch from Leahy. Called a strike. Outside corner, about below the bell, a slider. And the count is 0-1 to the shortstop, Gray. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. A changeup down in the zone, had the plate, but it was about shin high. And the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Ooh. The 1-1 pitch. Down and in, a slider, 89 miles an hour. The count is 2-1. Bottom of the third inning, nobody on, nobody out. It's a 3-1 Cardinal lead. All the offense came in the top of the first and top of the second for them, and Byron Buxton, the single home run, is responsible for the Twins' 1 run. Here's the 2-1. Chop foul down the first base side, and out of play on a curveball down and into the lefty, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Much like the Cardinals in many ways, Minnesota is a very left-hand hitting dominant lineup. No, Richard, I have not been paying attention to what's been happening with Sonny Gray, unfortunately. Why? What's up? Let me know. Here's a 2-2. Foul down the third base side. Now to play on the four-seam fastball down and away. The count remains 2-2. So right now, everybody is crossing their fingers that they can get over that minimum finish line. They do not want to play this game again. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Hit up the middle. Charging in is Church, and he has to play it on a hop. So a leadoff single there for Gray. And the Twins have a runner on first with nobody out. Because they only face each other once this year, that probably means either Saturday and Sunday would turn into a split doubleheader. I don't think anybody wants any part of that. The Cardinals already have 2 doubleheaders on their slate coming up later this year. One against Milwaukee in St. Louis and one against the Reds in Cincinnati. Coming set is Leahy. Here's the pitch. Strike. Outside corner at the knees. The count is 0-1 to Kyle. The right-handed hitter, he's hitting .247. Runner on first with nobody out. Bottom of the third inning. It's a righty-righty matchup. Leahy's from the stretch. He's set at the Birds. Here's the 0-1. A sweeper down and away, slightly over the lefty batter's box. Count is now 1 ball, 1 strike. Is Paul D going directly to bed when I need to be at the airport by 3:30 in the morning? Not a chance, Justin. Here's the 1-1. Strike, splitter, outside corner about knee high. The count is 1-2. And now with the rain, you're beginning to see it discolor the dirt in the infield that has been soaking up quite a bit of precipitation. The drops are becoming even more clear through all the cameras in the broadcast. See what happens. Back into the box is the righty Kyle. Runner on first, nobody out. It's a 1-2 count. Coming sets Leahy. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3. Change up down and away for the first out of the inning. So, Kyle got caught in the observation booth. The old backwards K, professional baseball's impression of Cyrillic. And that's the first out of the inning. Coming sets Leahy. Now here's the lefty Larnach, his second at bat. A sweeper down and in out of the zone. The count is 1-0. The lefty Larnach, he is 0 for 1 today. It's a 1-0 count. Righty-lefty matchup. Runner on first with 1 out. 3-1 Cardinals, bottom of third. It is really coming down at Target Field. Coming set at the Birds at the stretch is Leahy. Here's the 1-0. Hit to the right side. Fielded there by Weatherall. He throws the second one on to first. A double play. The pitcher's best friend, folks. The Twins, they go down in order. No runs. 1 hit. No walks. 1 left on. We head to the top of the 4th inning, and after 3 full, it's the Redbirds 3 and the Twins 1. I'm Paul D, and if you're enjoying my call here of Redbird action, please do leave a like. I really appreciate it, and it helps this growing channel out more than you can know. And if you want to join us here in our modest slice of Redbird Nation, by all means subscribe. All of us would love to have you aboard. With that said, me here, you there, and this is Bombers Game Mic. Let's go to the chat. 2 more innings until an official game. Yes, indeed. It was going to get heavy till about 9:45. Oof. Oh, good to see you, Max. So, Max, you asked me a question yesterday that I didn't get a chance, but I remembered here. As I've mentioned multiple times and even here tonight, starting tomorrow for a little under a week, this is going to be an audio-only call because I'm going to be on the road and the visuals are just not practical. Everything is going to be the same. The audio will be good. You'll have all the graphics on screen, score bug, the strike zone, the matchup, the box, the score ticker at the bottom, and, of course, interaction with the chat. That's never going away as far as I'm concerned. The only thing you're going to be missing is me on screen. So in many ways, it'll be a little bit like, as someone said earlier, old-fashioned radio, and I kind of like that idea. They need to send the rain to them fires in Nebraska. Eric? Very, very true. Oh, it's officially in a rain delay. It's a monsoon out there. Oh, boy. And here comes the tarp. They're getting out and they're pulling it out. Oh, boy. In so many ways, folks, when it rains, it pours. It rains, it pours. So, congratulations. We are in a rain delay. First time here on Game Mike that I've actually had to deal with a rain delay that interferes with a game in progress, which, it is what it is. I guess we're going to go through it. Story time with Paul D. I suppose so, DJ Nick Fly. Old-fashioned radio. We Gen Xers remember that. Love it. Hey, I'm really glad to hear that, Josh. Wipeout Blazes first. I really hope it doesn't get to that point. Tarps off. Tarps on. Very good, Max. Very good. For every hour of rain delay, the fans should get one drink and a dog. Okay, that actually reminds me of an interesting story. And since that's effectively where we are at the moment, I'm going to sit back and do just that. So, a baseball-related story from Paul's past. I don't often speak in the third person, and I'm definitely doing it ironically and for, mild comedy points at best. So back in 2004, on Labor Day, my best friend and I, growing up, went to a Yankees game where they were hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. And the reason we chose to go to that game was because it was a single admission doubleheader. So you get two for the price of one. Okay, that sounds like a deal. So he and I head into the city. We had been to a bunch of games that year at that point. I remember our goal that time, because we were only 17 years old at that point, was to at least get to 10 games. We beat that number. I think we got to like 13 or 14, which is pretty good when you're 17 years old and you're doing it entirely on your own. And so we get there. But there's a problem, and a pretty big problem. The visiting team wasn't there. No, I kid you not. The visiting team wasn't there. So Tampa, and its infinite wisdom, and this is all the way back when Lou Piniella was managing then Devil Rays. So like I said, September, Labor Day 2004. A hurricane had hit Florida. This has, of course, happened many times. It is never a good thing. However, instead of taking the proactive steps to depart with the team before the storm hit, which, as I recall, was an entirely viable option, for some reason they hung around and waited for it to clear up. And so now you have a whole bunch of people in old Yankee Stadium, mind you, that are there, ticket holders, for a single admission doubleheader, and there's no opposition to play. However, they were not going to be absent entirely. They were simply going to be late. I had never experienced this in my own life and experiences watching Major League Baseball, so it's kind of a hoot. And so what they end up doing is this. For everybody that was there, of course, they do the standard, you can exchange your ticket for any game in the next 12 months based on availability. And you can use it the very next day because they were going to do a single admission doubleheader on the Tuesday after the Labor Day, which almost nobody showed up to game one because everyone was working. This is what they did. They did the ticket thing. And this is actually quite incredible coming from the Yankees, they then offered everyone present free, F-R-E-E, free, unlimited hot dogs and non-spirituous beverages throughout the entirety of their experience there today, even after Tampa showed up. And so what happened from there is we waited for a good 4 or 5 hours. And when you're 17 at that time and you have nothing but hot dogs and soda, at your command in unlimited quantities, that's a good time. I don't think I could pull that off today, but that's a different story. And so we walk around Yankee Stadium. We go and sit in all the seats that we wondered, hey, I wonder what it was like to sit there. With the exception of the bleachers, because the old bleachers at Yankee Stadium were actually cut off from the rest of the grandstands. But, and this is interesting, something that very rarely happens. I think it only happens on Sunday home games. They don't open the gates early enough to see Yankee batting practice. They open it most days to see the visiting team take batting practice. But as a concession to everybody there who is holding a ticket to watch a matchup when the opposition has failed to show up on time, the Yankees came out and gave an extended batting practice, which was very entertaining. And then Game 2, we had gotten there, 1 in the afternoon. Game 2 started around 6 o'clock at night with El Duque going. It was a very strange situation, to say the least. So we filled up on Georgie dogs, waited around a while. Tampa eventually showed up, and we saw most of the next game, but we still had school the next day. So that's where I'm going to kick off story time. And now I'm going to chat with all of you. Joe Breeding, very cool. Well, I hope you're referring to me. Story time with a free beer and a dog. Well, not the beer, but definitely the dog, and a lot of soda to be sure. Call Billy Joe. Okay. Well, let us see here. You guys have been quite busy. Yeah, right now, I do not know how long this rain delay is going to last. Clearly, we might be here a little while. But that's what's happening. What happens if they call the game here? That's a good question. So it's not an official game until you complete 5 innings. We are not there yet. We're in the top of the 4th. If this rains out, everything that happened in this game played tonight will be nullified, and then they make up the game, I'm assuming in all likelihood, probably somewhere in the next either Saturday or Sunday by means of a split doubleheader. That's basically what would happen, especially because these are not guys in the division. They're not anybody in even the National League. We're dealing with interleague play tonight. And that, is the dealio there. Unfortunately, I haven't been to a game since 2013, I think. That's unfortunate, Richard. It's still a pretty good experience. It's a little pricey, but it's not, at least not in my experience, too bad. It's cool we can keep our own company. Glad you feel so, Firefox. Ronald, need 11 more likes. Hit the like button. Atlanta 2, Mets 2, bottom of the 2nd inning. All right, Sam. I always hated that continue the game where it left off. Yeah, usually you'll see suspended games when you're already past the threshold and, one of the teams didn't get a chance to bat yet and it can't be called official. They're a mess. They really are. And then there are some times when you'll get a suspended game where the game is so inconsequential to the standings. They're just like, yeah, we'll play if it's necessary. It probably won't be, but we will. That's always fun. I went to Yankee Stadium when Catfish Hunter retired. Man, was he a gamer. Really was. One of the great Yankee pitchers. I know he didn't come up with the Yankees. They signed him on, early free agency from Oakland. But boy, he was just a quintessential part of those late 70 Yankee championship teams. It's already 8 p.m. and it's in a rain delay. Yeah. Oh, look at that. There's a rainbow out there at Target Field right now. looks like they're getting a little bit of a sun shower. However, there is no action at this moment. It looks like they're in any way yet prepared to take off the tarp. But I'm keeping an eye on things here. Most definitely. In fact, it looks like the grounds crew may be heading in that direction right now. Don't get your hopes up too much, but that might be the case. I don't know what's happening. I am just basing it on the information that is in front of me. I hope it continues soon, because your boy here has one very long day. If this thing were to rain out and then play, say, a split doubleheader tomorrow, of course I would be doing both games. But man, that would be a ridiculously long day. All right, let's see here. Braves still have the best record in baseball. They are really good this year. My attention has turned to the soccer game. Y'all, go Birds. Hey, enjoy Team USA. Do you guys ever get to the seats? I would have camped out by the food court. Depending on the game. I mean, if it's an important one of my two teams playing, I'm glued to the thing, man. Okay. Yeah, I really do hope the game does continue, at least in part, so Blaze Jordan gets that first Major League hit in RBI. I gotta tell you, KCM with a $2 super chat. KCM, you have just been an absolute delight. And as a Brewers fan, you keep coming back, which always, I find so incredible. I'm glad you enjoy it this much, no doubt. And the $2 super chat is incredibly generous, and I thank you so much for doing so. Don't forget, Paul D can now get super chats, everyone. This is very true, KCM. I don't lean on it too hard, but it is available to anybody that is predisposed to doing so and wants to. Don't spend any money on me you can't afford, of course. I don't want that. But it is still very much appreciated. I'm not going to pretend that doesn't help. Okay. Aren't you flying to New York this weekend, Paul? I have a 5 a.m. flight tomorrow morning. And the tarp is coming off the field. Well, this is the first time this year I've said tarps off and not being a slogan. It is an actual descriptor and verb of what is happening here. All right. Well, right now, Ethan, they're taking the tarp off the field, which suggests that they are getting ready to resume this game. All right. Last game I went to was years ago with my mom. D-backs Cardinals. I got more comments on my Fast Eddie's t-shirt. Mom's been gone 3 years this past March. Miss you, Mama. I'm in the same camp, Roger. Not 3 years, but I know exactly what you've experienced. It's never a fun thing. That wasn't so bad. No, it wasn't. Richard Talley. Wow, good luck with that, Paul. Yeah, well, I'll take all the luck I can get. Okay. But what if it got canceled due to rain later? It's always possible, Ethan. Basically, though, you gotta get through 5 full. You can get through 4.5 if the away team is behind and they get their at bat in the top of the 5th, then they can call it there. But that's largely what we're dealing with. Yeah, that could happen. Now, I'm definitely not saying that it won't. But with the tarp coming off the field, it looks like we have been graced at the very least with only a short rain delay. Tucson Richard indeed. Cobra, yes, almost forgot the game was on. How could you forget? No, I'm just playing with it, Cobra. It's good to have you. Jam Jones, God bless you and your mama, brother. Cheers. Cheers. Justin Beasley, Paul, why don't you just take your private jet tomorrow? I mean, for Pete's sake, we all know you have. I wish I had one. That'd be kind of cool. I can't even be entirely sure what I would do with it, honestly. I'd be kind of like the dog that finally, has been chasing cars his whole existence, and he finally gets it, doesn't know what to do with the thing. Oh, boy. Not far. I'm in Phoenix. Okay, I'm in the middle of a conversation there. Signing in 10 miles from Busch Stadium. Let's go Cards. Cheers, Ethan. Cheers. Well, those of you who are just joining us here in the rain delay, the Cardinals have a 3-1 lead going to the top of the 4th inning. They're taking the tarps off the field, literally this time. And now we await resumption of play. Like I said, I can't be more thankful that this thing is a minor rain delay for so many good reasons, I'll tell you. But, hey, I'm all about play resuming, and I know you at home or wherever you may be watching or listening right now are all about that too. So, this is rain delay time, but it shouldn't last much longer. She was my best friend. That is a blessing that will take you for the remainder of your life, Roger. There's nothing like having a great mom. Nothing like it. All right, well, the rainbow is still out there at Target Field. Hopefully that's a harbinger for, 1, play continuing, and 2, a positive Redbird outcome. It looks like there's definite breaks in the clouds. You can see some of the sky there. I think they're going to be resuming play rather soon. But I will tell you this. They definitely needed to put that tarp on the field when they did. It was just coming down way too hard. My mom was mine too. Amen, John. Got a plan to meet up at Busch Stadium sometime. Would be super fun. I would fly up for sure. That's incredible, Justin. You know, I've actually thought about that. Scoreboard rundown. Cardinals scored 1 in the top of the first off an Alec Burleson solo home run. Bottom of the first inning, Byron Buxton himself hit a solo home run, tying it at 1. And then in the top of the second, the Cards managed to put up 2 more, and that's the extent of the offensive action here. In fact, Kyle Leahy has actually been looking pretty good. I really hope this rain delay doesn't screw with him too much. Luckily, because it appears to be a short one, they shouldn't have to go to the bullpen immediately. Joe Ryan, the starter for the Twins, has certainly been far more taxed than Kyle Leahy has been tonight. So we'll see what Joe Madden has in mind there. No, but I was thinking about the whole concept of a meetup at one point. You know, just a passing thought. And I was thinking, well, where would it make sense to do that sort of thing? And I thought to myself, well, if there is one obvious choice, it's Busch Stadium. So it's definitely something I have on my mind. And I know not everyone at the moment is in attendance, but this is an opportunity to bring up something else. It's become plenty clear to me now that the channel is attracting enough people where, you know, 99.9% of everybody who chimes into the chat is lovely. You guys are good to each other. You're very thoughtful and knowledgeable in your commentary. There's not an issue there. However, because it's the internet and the internet's going to internet, we are also kind of running into some strange birds with, let's just say, not exactly good faith actors there in the chat. And so it would seem to me, though I haven't had to do it much, but the necessity unfortunately is becoming clear, that I am going to have to take on some moderators. Now, for everyone listening, this is obviously a volunteer position. And if you are interested in doing that, I mean, there's still a lot for me to figure out on how to do that well. By all means, do reach out to me. There is a email address attached to the channel in the description of the channel for Bomber's Game Mic. It says for media and business inquiries, but in reality, I treat it as an all-purpose point of contact for the channel. And if that is something you'd be interested in doing, by all means, just send me a quick email, and we can sit down and chat face-to-face through the digital medium and try to get on the same page, see what works, because we've just kind of gotten to that point now. There's really no way to get around it. And if you were watching yesterday afternoon, you'll fully understand why. Somebody who actually had to give the boot to, I think, this past Saturday, who was carrying a lot of butt hurt and baggage, decided to come into the chat and throw a total hissy fit. I couldn't even figure out who this dude was originally because he couldn't use his original account. but it does appear that moderators are probably necessary, and I'm beginning to take that step. So if you do have any interest in this, is of course an all-volunteer position. Let me know through the channel's email, and in the channel description you will see the email. It's just bombersgamemike@gmail.com. Send me an email, and we can figure out a good time to, chat face-to-face through something like Google Meet, and then we can go from there. And anybody who comes forth and volunteers, all I can say is I really appreciate it. I wish it weren't necessary, but unfortunately we're getting to that point where it can't be ignored. All right. Oh, well, thank you, Ethan. Firefox, I'm trying to get my own channel going anyway. In what subject? What's your topic? I'd love to know that. Yeah, I agree, Roger. The meetup would have to be at a game. I don't really see any other way around it. Mods are unpaid interns and no benefits. I'm not pretending that I'm putting out a paid position. I've made it very clear this would be volunteer and on a volunteer basis. So anybody that would come forth and offer their services should understand that up front. All right, I'm not really making any money off this with the exception of a few super chats at this point. So naturally, I can't exactly give you a salary and health benefits, unfortunately. I'm not trying to be glib, but the reality is it would be a volunteer position. So understand anybody who comes forth that would be the case. Paul, have you ate at Joey's down on the hill yet? Down on Daggett Street. So I'm trying to remember if I'm thinking of the same place that you and I are thinking about. Are you talking about Gioa's? The sandwich place? Yeah, I've definitely eaten there. I've eaten there multiple times. That place is really good, man. They're known for the hot pastrami with the good deli mustard. Yeah, I've been there. It's great. Yeah, Cobra. It's too bad, but not surprising that a moderator is needed, but also kind of shows the growth of the show. So that's positive. In its own awkward way, I suppose it is a good problem to have. It's definitely not the most rewarding of tasks in this particular gig, but that's what it is. Is this broadcast authorized by Major League Baseball? Is that question rhetorical? No, this here, and I'll make it clear because I think a few people have inquired about this one way or another. The line when it comes to doing this is you can't show any visuals from the broadcast and you cannot include any audio from the broadcast. So outside of that, from a legal perspective, and certainly YouTube's take on this, is that it's fair game. Because I'm just giving you my play-by-play call. All the audio is engineered and mixed right here in studio. I'm not getting it from any external sources. As far as what's there from MLB Game Day, they don't give me a hard time about it, especially since it's cropped pretty tight. And otherwise, Major League Baseball doesn't really get a say in this. So, whether it's authorized or not, it's happening. And you know what? They're partially to blame for this situation to exist in the first place. So what can I tell you? I'm definitely not all that sympathetic to Major League Baseball or the fact they haven't found some way to consistently make the Cardinals available somewhere where people don't have to pay 3 or 4 different subscriptions and are trying to figure out where these things are. If you remember, Fox Sports Midwest, FanDuel, then Bally. Before that all fell apart, they basically covered 130 games a year. You turn on your TV, I think even basic cable, they were available, and that's gone away. I don't think they wanted it to. They certainly missed the revenue from it, but that's the situation we're in. So it definitely is a matter of necessity. J.M. Jones, good deal. Shout out to the Hill. Yeah, absolutely. Especially Missouri Baking Company, my favorite destination on the Hill. They actually catered the dessert at Mrs. Game Mike's and I's wedding. Oh, Sam, well, it's not quasi-legal. All right, there's a lot of other people doing this. And even if you were involved, who would know? I'd be the one who had to deal with the fallout anyway. Your fingerprints are not on this. Okay, this is way better than the current Cards radio broadcast. Well, thank you, Derek. Let's say 2 likes away from 100. Oh, it's not bad considering we've been sitting here in a rain delay for the better part of a half hour. Appreciate your doing it. Well, you got it, sir. Sir Old Bear. That's a great handle, by the way. John Williams. Paul, you are filling a need, and we love you for it. Mrs. Paul, too, for being behind you. Yeah, she has been in a major way. I mean, you know, that woman is St. Louis into the core. And she understands the necessity of Redbirds baseball in everyday life around here. And it's a more or less an unprecedented situation. So we adapt as necessary. Punch the like button in the nose. Cheers, Justin Beasley. All right, let's see. I agree and like it. Cheers, Sam. Cheers. Alrighty. So we are very, very patiently awaiting the resumption of this game. It is a 3-1 Cardinal lead going to the top of the 4th inning. When we get there, it's going to be Mason Wynn who's going to be leading it off, followed by Jimmy Crooks, and then Blaze Jordan again. Hey, we're at 100 likes. Not bad at all. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you, Ronald Lyle. Thank you, Trisk. Thank you, For Life. I would consider KCM part of that as well, part of the vanguard here at Bombers Game Mike. So the players are back on the field, I am pleased to announce. Oh, for the time being, you can just call her Mrs. Game Mike. That's fine. Mrs. Game Mike works. She also likes Mrs. Bomber, but I've generally discouraged that, you know, because you have to go through airport security. That's not exactly something I want out there. Okay. Okay. Back on the hill. Here we go. Joe Ryan is back out there on the hill. Presumably, Kyle Leahy will be joining him in the bottom half of the frame. So we are just about at the very end of this rain delay. How about that, folks? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely time for that. Definitely time for that. I am all sorts of ready to get this game on the road. Mason Wynn is out on the on-deck circle. And Stubby Clap's having a pre-forward with him. One of the great baseball names of all time, by the way. I'm from Arlington, Texas, and have family in Bolivar. Go Cardinals. Cheers. Kelly, I have been to Arlington, Texas on many occasions, mostly for sporting events and a few times at Six Flags. But it's always a destination in the Metroplex that I have so much fun at. So I'm glad you're joining us here. Yeah, put back your umbrellas. You got that right, David Hodge. Has Herrera not been hit yet tonight? No, he hasn't. Amazingly. It's like that guy has a target on him or something. All right, Mason Wynn steps into the box, and we are finally back. Joe Ryan doing his weird pec stretch on the mound. You know, basically looks like he's going to go full flight like an eagle doing it. Now, he deals. Strike, four-seam fastball outside corner below the belt. 91 miles an hour from Joe Ryan. The count is 0-1. Mason Wynn, 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike on the sweeper up and in, 79 miles an hour. And the count is no balls, 2 strikes. DJ McFly, thank you for the stories. You got it, my friend. Very happy to do it. Richard Talley, I still have family in St. Louis. I'm glad you have a solid tie back to the area. Coming winds Ryan, the 0-2 to win. Well upstairs, a four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour. The count is 1-2. So we're back from our rain delay. It is 3-1 Cardinals in the top of the 4th inning. Nobody on, nobody out. Mason Wynn leading off the action here after the delay. Coming wind is Ryan. Here's a 1-2. A sinker down and away out of the zone, 93 miles an hour. The count is 2-2. Does anyone else like Cheetos on the hill? Yeah, Me. I love Charlie. Here's a 2-2. Fly ball out there to right field. Giving chase at the right fielder going towards the line. He charges in. Underneath it is the first baseman who calls him off to make the catch for the first out of the inning. So Mason Wynn, in very target field fashion, fouls out for the first out of the top of the fourth. You know, something I actually miss when I go to Cardinals games is Charlie's place that used to be there in downtown. That used to be part of my pregame ritual. I would always go to the one downtown there before going to the game. Now here's Jimmy Crooks, the left-hander. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Here's the pitch. A sweeper in, 79 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. They only closed a couple of years ago or shortly after the pandemic. Back into the box is Crooks. Ryan is from the full wind with the bases empty. He winds the 1-0 pitch. A four-seam fastball low, clear out of the zone. The count is 2 balls, no strikes. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Jimmy Crooks. And he gets back into the box and time is resumed. Back onto the rubber is Joe Ryan. 1 out, nobody on, top of the fourth. 3-1 Cardinals, righty-lefty matchup. The 2-0 pitch. Foul down the third base side, out of play, and a four-seam fastball in the outer third, clocked at 93 miles an hour. The count is 2 balls, 1 strikes. So, Paul, I have to go. Be back during the 8th inning, hopefully. Have a good play. We will miss you. I'm not going to be gone. Don't worry, Ethan, but you have a good rest of your night. If you come back, great to have you. Nope, I'm not missing a game. It's just going to be audio only. Coming winds Ryan, the 2-1 pitch. Down and in, a slider out of the zone, 85 miles an hour, and Jimmy Crooks has himself in that classic hitter's count. Through 7 games, 174, a home run, 4 RBIs, a 588 OPS. He's 0 for 1 with a lineout. Coming winds Ryan, the 3-1 strike, four-seam fastball on the inner third, knee high to Crooks. And the count is 3 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, roger that, Ethan. My apologies. Coming winds Ryan. Here's the pitch. And here's a fly ball out there to shallow left field. Coming in as a left fielder, charging towards the line. He's underneath it. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So, 1 foul out, 1 fly out. Now here's Blaze Jordan with 2 out, nobody on, top 4th inning. If you weren't here for it, in the top of the second, he got his first major league hit and his first major league RBI. At the time, it made it 2-1 Cardinals. The righty's in the box. It's a righty-righty matchup with Joe Ryan on the mound. Here's the first pitch to Jordan. Fouled straight back on the slider away, 85 miles an hour. Didn't miss that thing by much. I think he'd like it back. The count is 0-1. Coming winds Ryan. He deals foul down the first base side and out of play on the four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour. The count is 0-2. Delta leader. Good afternoon, Paul and Chet. Glad for the rain delay so I can catch more Cards baseball. Let's go. I'm glad it worked out for you, man. Ryan deals strike 3 on the knuckle curve, down in the way. Swung right underneath that one, did Blaze Jordan. So, the Cards, they go down in order. And after 3.5 innings of play, it is the St. Louis Cardinals 3 and the Minnesota Twins 1. I'm Paul D, and we are back from that unfortunate rain delay, but play has resumed. And this is Bombers Game Mic. Wow, the Mets went up 6-2 in the bottom of the third. Well, how about that? The old USA champ. Yep. World Cup soccer has kicked off. Blame the rain indeed, Richard. I'm just glad it wasn't too long. And we await the action to resume in the bottom of the 4th inning. Presumably, Kyle Leahy will be out there. He's still the pitcher of record. And leading it off for the Twins will be Buxton, followed by Clemens, and then Bell. As you may recall, Byron Buxton is responsible for the only runs the Twins have scored so far tonight on a solo home run to center field back in the bottom of the 1st inning, which tied it up at the time following Alec Burleson's solo job to the upper deck in right center field. However, things have transpired since then. All right. Do I like any other energy drink than Red Bull? Okay, that's an interesting question. I like the occasional Starbucks double shot. That's pretty good. But I always kind of have to moderate my intake. You know, I'm generally a night owl anyway. But still, I do it by choice and just because the way the body clock works for me, at least at this age. So I like doing it more by choice than by, latent caffeine in my system, but them's the breaks, my friend. The one thing I miss having moved to Dixon, Missouri is Italian food. When I asked it at a hardware store if there were any Italian joints in town, he answered, "Why would you want to eat that junk?" What a lovely character. What a lovely character. All right. Kyle Leahy is back on the bump. I used to be a night owl, not so much anymore. Well, then you know. You know what it's like. It's an interesting time of day. All right, the righty Buxton's back in the box. He's 1-for-1 with a solo home run back in the first inning. Leahy is on the bump to the extreme first base side of the rubber. He comes wide. He deals to Buxton. Hit to the left side and foul. Just foul on the curveball. And the count is 0-1. Send Tony Sobrero to the hardware store. Assuming he made it past that finale, here's the 0-1. Hit out to left field and into left center field. Chasing after it is Nootbaar. It bounces off the wall. He picks it up at the track. And going into second, all the way to third is Buxton. Here's the throw. And he is out at third. Oh, he is out at third trying to extend the double into a triple. An excellent throw there by Lars Nootbaar. Blaze Jordan pulled it in on a hop, put on a very fine tag, and out is Byron Buxton trying to extend it into a triple. Oh, boy. Yeah, no, that was Mason Wynn. Correction, you're absolutely right. And he got it on a hop right there to Blaze Jordan. Blaze Jordan pulled it in, put down that tag. Let's see, make sure he got it. You could never tell from that angle. The home plate umpire was right on top of it, even though it was at third. He's backing up the third base umpire. So there is one out here in the bottom of the first inning. It could be bottom of the fourth inning. And here's the pitch to the lefty Clemens. Fouled down the third base side. Now to play on the slider away. The count is 0-1. Excellent job by Nuke getting to it, hitting the cutoff man there, Wynn, and Wynn put a very nice throw on it. Blaze Jordan did his job by hauling it in and putting down the tag. Here's the 0-1. Chop foul down the first base side, now to play on the curveball. The count is no balls, 2 strikes. That was an excellent defensive effort. Like I was saying the other day, that the outfield defense for the Cardinals, especially with Newt out there in left, has become really solid defensively. It's an 0-2 count to the lefty Clemens. He deals. Four-seam fastball away, slightly over the righty batter's box, 95 miles an hour. The count is 1-2. Blame It on the Rain, a song done by Prince, who is from Minnesota. Yes, indeed. Coming full wind, he deals. Hit to the right side, fielded there on the ground by Weatherall. He throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. Paul, do you think this Cardinal teams can make the playoffs? I don't know at this point, Richard. I think you have to seriously consider the prospect. They could always fall out a bit, weird injuries, they're a young team. But as currently constituted, yeah, I think they could win a wild card berth. Now, here's the first pitch to the lefty Bell. Four-seam fastball, down and away on the outside corner for a strike. The count is no balls, 1 strike. Nobody on, 2 out. Leahy winds and deals. Hit down towards second, field on a pair of hops there by Weatherall. He throws to first in time for the third out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no walks, nobody left on. We head to the top of the 5th inning. It is 3-1 Redbirds out at Target Field. I'm Paul D. And if you're new here, or you're really just joining us on Game Mike, thank you so much for spending part of your Friday evening with me here on Game Mike. You like my call of Redbird action? Please do leave a like. It helps the growing channel out a ton, and I really do appreciate it. You want to see more? Just hit subscribe. we'd love to have you aboard. With that said, 3-1 Cardinals going to the top of the 5th. Let's see, rain delay must be short. It certainly was. For life. 111 likes, 208 people hit that like button. Thank you so much, for life. These guys could do it. They don't know anything but trying to keep playing on the club. Winning is just a reward for them playing well. So I like that take. Richard, I keep waiting for the wheels to fall off, but I am impressed. I thought they would lose 100 this year. You're not alone. I never thought 100, but common wisdom coming into this was like, well, what's this thing going to be, and how could it possibly be good? Well, the Cardinals have very much answered that question. As I've been saying the last couple of days, in the clubhouse, it seems they're playing just without expectation. They're able to play loose. And even though our expectations will invariably rise, by extension the media that covers them, such as there is, I don't think they're terribly concerned with it. And these guys are so young, I think you said it. These guys don't know any better. They're just playing baseball right now. And they're doing an incredible job of it. So, so long as there's not any weird injuries or some bizarro funk, I think they will be in it, and we'll be very fortunate to have that. This is the funniest Cardinal team in years, in my opinion. They are playing with joy and well above expectations, playoff or not. I agree. Now, here's the first pitch. Four-seam fastball outside corner at the knees, and the count is 0-1 to Nathan Church. It's a righty-lefty matchup with Joe Ryan on the mound. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 5th, 3-1 Cardinals. Come and wind is Ryan. He deals. And there's a pop-up out there to around third base. Calling for it is the shortstop. He squeezes it for the first out of the inning. Okay. How many of these AAA players being brought up won a championship at the AAA? Have the AAA club won any championships the last few years? I very seldom pay attention to that. But a lot of these guys have won throughout their career, even prior to the minor leagues. Now, here's the first pitch to Weatherall. Four-seam fastball up and away, out of the zone. And strike. And correction. It fouled down the third base side. Excuse me. Shows you where I am at the moment, unfortunately. My apologies. 80 pitches so far for Ryan. Here's the 0-1 to Weatherall. And he hits it down in foul territory down the left-hand side and into the stands. And the count is no balls, 2 strikes. Oh, very interesting, Sam. Back on the bump is Ryan. It's an 0-2 count to J.J. Weatherall. He's 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. A splitter in the dirt, laying off it easily is Weatherall. The count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. How's this game on? Was there a delay? Yes, there was. Yes, there was, Trist. Nobody on, 1 out, top of the 5th, 3-1 Cardinals. J.J. Weatherall's up. He's 1 for 2. Righty-lefty matchup with Joe Ryan. Here's the pitch. Splitter down and away out of the zone, 89 miles an hour. The count is 2-2. 33rd inning. Yeah, absolutely. But Kyle Leahy seems to be still pretty locked in, so that's a plus after a rain delay. He deals. Just missed inside with a sweeper, challenged immediately by the catcher, so we have an ABS challenge here. It's called a ball, it's challenged, and it's either a strike or a full count. And it is a strike, and that'll be a strikeout looking for J.J. Weatherall, and that'll be the second out of the inning. It was down and in, initially ruled a ball. However, it did clip the strike zone with no ambiguity. The count is, well, there is no count yet. Here comes Ivan Herrera. Woodworking outdoorsman. The Miz just threw a complete game one-hitter with 15 strikeouts at Miller Park. That guy is a beast. Now, here's Ivan Herrera. He's 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch. Called a strike. Sinker whispers over the black of the outside corner, knee high, and the count is 0-1. 0 for 2, line out, ground out, 267 home runs, 28 RBIs. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Herrera. No, certainly not, Trisk. Certainly not. The heavens opened up, and it began raining pennies from heaven. Come and wind is Ryan, the 0-1. Curveball down in the dirt and out of the zone, 80 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Coming winds Ryan. He deals. Swinging strike on the sweeper away. Swung underneath that one did Herrera. The count is 1-2. Well, coup fly? Yeah. I think that's largely the situation that exists here in its own unique manifestation, but that's basically what's going on. Here's the 1-2. Hit to the left side and into left center field for a base hit. Picking on up is the left fielder, tossing in. So a long single by Herrera with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. Now here comes Alec Burleson. Burley has been on an absolute tear. Earlier tonight, he hit a solo home run in the upper deck in right center field that gave the Cardinals at the time a 1-0 lead. Let's see what he has in store for us. Boy, has he been good, and he is hot as all get out right now. From the stretch is Ryan. Herrera at first. Here's the pitch to Burley. Slider strike, inside corner at the knees. The count is no balls, 1 strike. Back on the bump is Joe Ryan. He comes set. Here's the 0-1. Called strike, splitter, basically the same location as the previous pitch. Down and in, clipped the plate, had the knee. The count is 0-2. Yeah, that 2011 team was basically a 500 team until mid-August. Yeah. That was the most amazing thing about them. And then all of a sudden, it's like a spell was cast over them, and they forgot how to lose. Stepping off the rubber there is Joe Ryan, waiting to get back on the same page as Caratini. Count remains 0-2. 11 was legendary for sure. It was the best World Series run I've ever seen. Coming set is Ryan. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A splitter down and in and out of the zone, 89 miles an hour. The count is 1-2. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Did that ball hit off Herrera's leg and bounce to center field? I surely hope not. It went a pretty long way for something ricocheting off his body. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3, challenged immediately by Burleson, and he definitely has a case. It looked both low and off the plate. So the Cardinals are going to use their first ABS challenge here. What do they have? And it's a ball. The call is overturned, and it is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. An excellent, and it missed by 1.5 inches. If I didn't predict it before, this is an umpire that has a pretty loose strike zone. This is going to be an ABS game. I think we've had 3 of them so far. There's at least 2. And both teams have both of their ABS challenges because their challenges have been successful. Coming set is Ryan. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Bounces out in front of home plate, a splitter. The count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, Chuck, they are very good. And taking second there is Herrera. They take it. He absolutely moves over there towards, without any attention from Caratini behind the plate. Here's a 3-2. Swinging strike 3 on the sweeper down and in, and that will do it. Man, Herrera was sneaky on that one. My goodness. After 4.5, it's the Cardinals 3, the Twins 1. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. We were at Game 7 that year, and it was spitting snow. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's kind of the magic of it, Alan. They came out of nowhere. They are one of the most outstanding teams in that regard. I mean, I remember watching that, and I'm sure many of you do as well. And just every single day, it's like, do these guys know how to lose anymore? And, of course, now we know our answer with 15 years hindsight, but it was incredible to watch. It's just absolutely amazing. All right. Let's go Cardinals indeed for life. What we got here? Albert got hot, and they picked up Lance Berkman, and they took off. Yeah, Lance Berkman, a.k.a. Fat Elvis, he was just an integral piece in that run. It was incredible, considering that was a guy who for so much of his career, tried to make life very difficult for the Cardinals, but I'm glad the tables turned and he was there. It was not defensive indifference. It was a stolen base. Caratini got the ball that bounced out in front of the plate, but was paying no attention to Herrera at first, and Herrera picked up on this, very likely as a fellow catcher, and just took off. So that's the story there. Unfortunately, it is 4-0. All right, leading off here when we get to it is the first baseman, Lewis, followed by the aforementioned Caratini, and then the third baseman, Lee. It will be Kyle Leahy out for his fifth frame of work tonight. All righty. Labor Tour starting tomorrow. Michael McGreevy on Sunday. That's who's due up next in the rotation. Now here's the righty Lewis, who's 0 for 1. Righty-righty matchup. Coming set is Leahy. He deals. Curveball down and away and out of the zone. The count is 1-0. That was only the 45th pitch for Leahy. He has been very economical in his 4+ innings of work. He's from the full one. The 1-0 pitch. Down and away, a four-seam fastball out of the zone, 94 miles an hour. The count is 2-0. Royce Lewis 0 for 1 with a flyout. Coming one. He deals. Swinging strike on the slider right down Broadway. Swung over the top of that one, 89 miles an hour. A little below the knees, so give it to Lewis there. The count is 2-1. Nobody on, nobody out. He deals. Sinker away. And the count is now 3 balls, 1 strike. So Leahy, for the most part, has actually looked pretty good tonight. Hopefully he keeps it up. He's back onto the bump. Here's the pitch. Hit to the left side and into left field for a base hit. Coming over to his right is Newpart. He fields it. He tosses back in. So a leadoff single there for Lewis. And the Twins have a runner on first with nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning. I'll never forget in 11, the Albert game, Joe Buck said, he's heating up. Well, no, he's hot. And McCarver said, yeah, he's been hot for about 11 years. Okay, I got to give credit to Tim McCarver on that. That was pretty funny. Now, here's the lefty hitting catcher, Caratini, runner on first with nobody out. Here's a pitch. Hit out there into right center field and in for a base hit. Going it all the way to the track, picking it up there by Church. He tosses it back in, and it's a stand-up double for Caratini. There are runners on second and third and nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning. So the Twins have 2 runners in scoring position. A single will tie up this game. And Leahy has himself in the first real jam here tonight that he's had to face. Now, in his last couple of starts, he went 4 innings and then 4 1/3. This is generally where he's run into the wall, unfortunately. Let's see if he can work through it. Runners on second and third. Nobody out. Here's the lefty Lee, third baseman, righty-lefty matchup. Here's a pitch. Just missed upstairs with a curveball away, 81 miles an hour. The count is 1 ball, no strikes. Take him out. I don't think he's there quite yet. All right. Blaze Jordan's playing in at third. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Strike, sweeper on the inner third above the knees to the lefty Lee. And the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. 52 pitches so far for Leahy. This is his first real speed bump. He comes set at the Birds. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Just missed down and in with a sweeper, 84 miles an hour, and the count is 2-1. Lee is 0 for 1 tonight for the Twins. Waiting for his pitch is Leahy. Runners on second and third. He comes set at the Birds. He's at the stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Slider down and in the dirt, nowhere near the zone, 90 miles an hour. The count is 3 balls, 1 strike. A triple play, that'd be nice. It'd be one very unusual triple play, but it would be nice. Back in the box is Lee. Coming set is Leahy. The 3-1 pitch. There's a fly ball out to right field. Underneath it is Jordan Walker. He makes the catch, and he makes the throw towards home. Heading towards home from third is the runner, and he stays right there at third, even though Jordan Walker overthrew Jimmy Crooks at the plate. And that is the first out of the inning. So talk about respect for Jordan Walker's arm out there and right. My goodness. I don't know how Lewis did not come home at that on that play, but he is held up right there. It is still a 3-1 game. Luckily, Leahy was backing up the overthrow as a principle of sound defense for a pitcher. Now here's the lefty Gray who's 1 for 1. Here's the pitch. Changeup down and in the dirt. Righty-lefty matchup. The count is 1 ball, no strikes. No, there was no way Jimmy Crooks was getting to that thing. The thing was like 5 or 6 feet over his head. Leahy, backing him up all the way to the running track there, caught it on the fly. Coming sets Leahy, the 1-0 pitch. A changeup just off the plate, down and in, knee high. Ruled a ball. The count is 2 balls, no strikes. You don't run on that, Canyon. No, you don't, Sam. Coming set at the Birds is Leahy. Here's the 2-0. A foul ball on a check swing on the sweeper up. Goes over towards the Cardinal dugout. The count is 2 balls, 1 strike. No, he has lost a bit of command of the strike zone, Alan. You're absolutely right. We'll see what happens here. Runners on second and third with 1 out. Coming sets Leahy. The pitch. Just missed off the plate with a 4-seam fastball, clocked at 95 miles an hour. The count is 3 balls, 1 strike. No pass ball, Crooks. Yeah, David, that has been a bit of a bugaboo for him in his short time in the majors. Coming sets Leahy at the Birds. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Called a strike. Sweeper on the outside corner, down at the knees. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. There are runners on second and third with 1 out. It's a 3-1 Cardinal lead up at Target Field here at the bottom of the 5th inning. Leahy's in his first real gem. He has thrown 60 pitches so far. He's from the stretch. On deck is Luke Keyshaw. Gray, of course, is 1 for 1 tonight. He's back in the box steady. Coming set is Leahy at the belt. Here's a 3-2. Chopped down to second base and through the big hole on the right side for a base hit. It's actually picked up by Mason Wynn right of third, and that will make it a 3-2 Cardinal lead. The runner will advance from second to third on the play, and it is indeed ruled a single there for Gray and an RBI, and it is now a 3-2 Cardinal lead following the RBI single. That's the best thing I can call it based on the very unusual play there. It is amazing the range that Mason Wynn has out there, even though they were clearly shaded towards right field defensively with the infield defense. There's a powwow out on the mound with the pitching coach and Leahy. Everybody's getting in on it. Runners are on first and third with 1 out. So the Cardinal lead has been cut down to 3-2. Crooks needs to settle him down. Yeah, that's definitely a part of it, I think. That's the other reason why the pitching coach came out there. I'm not entirely sure what they would be discussing in this case, but undoubtedly one of the fundamental purposes of it happening is to just kind of break it up a little bit for Kyle Leahy. 61 pitches here at this point, and 4 1/3 inning of work. There are runners on first and third with 1 out. Righty-righty matchup with the righty Keyshaw at the plate. He's the 9-hitter, 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball out to center field. Underneath it is Nate Church. He has it, and he is throwing home right there. Caratini is staying in at third, and it was a very good choice. He would have been out by a mile. Kyle Leahy was able to pick up that throw on 1 hop. He would have been able, hopefully, to make the short throw to home and have him by 10 feet. That is the second out of the inning. Now, here comes the lefty Larnack, the leadoff hitter tonight. He's 0 for 2. It'll make it a righty-lefty matchup. Runners are still on first and third with 2 out, bottom of the 5th inning. It is 3-2 Cardinals. At the stretch is Leahy. Comes set at the Birds. Here's the first pitch to Larnack. Foul down the third base side. Now to play on the four-seam fastball up. Clocked at 94 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. Right now, this is the big challenge for Kyle Leahy in his start tonight. Back in the box is the lefty Larnach. Coming set is Leahy. He deals. Down in the dirt on a changeup, 90 miles an hour. A very nice backhanded stop there by Jimmy Crooks behind the plate. That would have been a serious wild pitch. So credit to him. Runners on first and third with 2 out, bottom of the 5th inning. It's a 1-1 count, righty-lefty matchup. Looking in his Leahy, he comes set at the stretch at the Birds. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swinging strike, a changeup down and in, 91 miles an hour. Larnach swooped right over the top of that one, and the count is now 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Leahy is 1 strike away potentially from getting out of this jam. We will see if he is able to execute. Leave Buxton on deck here. I hope so, Sam. I hope so. Larnach is hitting .324 with runners in scoring position this year. Coming sets Leahy. The 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3, and that will do it. A strikeout for Kyle Leahy to get out of the jam. So, 1 run, 2 left on. We head to the top of the 6th inning. It is a 3-2 Cardinal lead. I'm Paul D. And if you're just joining us here on Game Mike, thank you so much for spending part of your Friday night with us here. If you're enjoying my call of Redbird action, please do leave a like. It helps the growing channel out more than you can know, and I greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more, all you have to do is hit subscribe. We would love to have you. With that said, 3-2 Cardinals going to the top of the 6th. Yeah, seriously, Ronald. It's good for me, too. See, here's the thing. Credit Crooks. Yeah, he made a very nice backhand stop on that pitch. Had it gotten away from him, it would be a tie game right now. There's no 2 ways about it. Could have been much worse. Yeah, definitely, Clearman. That was fantastic. Hey, I'm really happy with the outcome, John. That's for sure. Sam, Leahy's in his 3rd time through the lineup. That's always that's always one of the big challenges every night. They see it a couple of times, and the question is, what are you going to do about it? Leahy is showing a lot more this year. Yeah, I mean, his last couple of starts were not great, especially in the longevity part of it. But he has made strides this year. I'm not going to deny that. Can't take it away from him. And tonight, he has been pretty darn good. Yeah, especially when you're dealing with a rain delay on top of it. Cardinals need more runs. As many as they can get, my friend. Okay, we're here for the top of the 6th inning. It's going to be Jordan Walker, followed by Newt, and then Mason Wynn. It is a 3-2 Cardinal lead. Very much a tight game here. Jordan Walker here due up. It's interesting to see how opposing pitchers have been trying to get him to chase on the breaking balls down and away. He's been able to get to some of them. He certainly did in this most recent series against the Mets. But that seems to be the lesson opposing teams are taking right now. Righty-righty matchup. Here's the first pitch from Ryan. Chopped down the third base side. Now to play on the four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour. The count is no balls, 1 strike. It looks like a lefty is up in the pen. Taylor Rogers for the Twins. Ryan deals. A slider well away and over the lefty batter's box. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike. 6 is a serious number indeed. Man, that was amazing marketing. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Hit on up the middle. Catching it on a hop is Ryan. He underhand tosses it first for the first out of the inning. He managed to get it on a hop, did Joe Ryan. Took a few steps over towards first. Gave him the old coach pitch underhand toss. He got Walker for the first out in the top of the 6th inning. Wainwright was great at going through lineups because he changed how he pitched. Would he ever come back as a starting pitching coach or Carp? That's always hard to say. Now, here's Lars Nootbaar. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Righty-lefty matchup. Come and wind deal is Ryan. He deals. Sweeper, strike. Outside corner below the belt. Righty-lefty matchup. The count is 0-1. Nobody on, 1 out. I'm going to respond to your question in a moment. He deals. Called strike. Splitter on the inside corner at the knees to the lefty Nootbaar, and the count is 0-2. I don't know what their feelings are on that, honestly. And I don't know that they've expressed it publicly one way or the other. Coming winds Ryan. The 0-2. Swinging strike 3. Down goes Newt. Hacking for the second out of the inning. That was the 100th pitch tonight by Joe Ryan, which would explain the lefty Taylor Rogers up in the bullpen. Now here's Mason Wynn. He's 1 for 2. Righty-righty matchup. Nobody on, 2 out. Top of the 6th inning. Back onto the bump is Ryan. He begins wind. Here's the first pitch to Wynn. Strike. Four-seam fastball outside corner thigh high. 93 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. Two out, nobody on. Ryan deals the 0-1 pitch. There is a high pop up there in the center of the infield. Calling for it, the third baseman. He makes the catch for the third and final out of the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is a 3-2 St. Louis lead. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. So would he ever do it? Like I said, he's broadcasting. Carpaz, coach for St. Louis before in spring training. Yeah, one of the special guest instructors. I don't know how they feel on it, and it's weird because a lot of the really great managers and coaches, not all of them, obviously, don't necessarily have a tremendous major league resume sometimes. Other times, it's guys that have just kind of rode the bench, were utility players like that. They become a coach, and they become a really good coach. And then, there's the whole, the high notoriety thing about having a former great player on the coaching staff that, if it works out, it's great. If it doesn't, it becomes a distraction. Oh, have a good night, Q-Man. You all have a nice night. Good luck, Cards. Need to lay down. You take care of yourself, Q-Man. Seriously. We'll be here when you get back. I thought Yachty might be a pitching coach. That's actually a really interesting thought. Somebody mentioned to me something interesting, maybe a couple of weeks ago, that Yachty apparently was on the record about not wanting to be manager because of a disparity in his proficiency in English, which I think is kind of interesting because he dealt with pitchers, a lot of which spoke English as their first language. And as far as I know, they were able to communicate fine. I know there's a lot of Spanish speakers now in the major leagues, has been for decades. But I just thought it was a rather strange answer. Almost to the point where, considering he and Ollie Marmol, are buddies, no doubt, he didn't want to undermine his friend there that was in the same role. But I find that really interesting. Kyle Leahy now, he's out for his 6th frame of work. Here's the first pitch to Buxton. Check swing. Did he go around? No, says Blue down the first baseline. It was a curveball down and away and in the dirt. The count is 1-0. You're dead on, Cobra. Here's the pitch. Hit to the left side and past a diving Blaze Jordan into left field for a base hit. It hits the inlet there in left field. Goes out to Nootbaar, but Byron Buxton has his second big hit of the night. And the Twins have a runner on second with nobody out. So Byron Buxton's definitely having himself a night. I believe that was only the 68th pitch from Leahy. That looked either like a cement spinner, slider, or curveball, and it just got past the diving Blaze Jordan down at third. It would have definitely taken superpowers to get there, so I wouldn't take too many cues on his defensive prowess from that. Now, here's the first pitch. Sweeper down and in the dirt. The count is 1-0 to the lefty Clemens, who's 0 for 2 tonight. This next pitch will be Leahy's 70th. Cody Clemens 0 for 2 with the fly out and a ground out. He has 9 home runs this year. Coming set at the Birds is Leahy. Here's the 1-0. A slider away for a ball, 88 miles an hour. The count is 2 balls, no strikes. No, Cobra, I think you're dead on as to why they work out so much. Coming set is Leahy. Here's the 2-0 pitch. A changeup in the dirt about shin high. The count is 3 balls, no strikes. Buxton again indeed. He is the one guy they didn't send away in the fire sale. Lefty Clemens back in the box. It's a 3-0 count. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball down Broadway just below the belt. Clocked at 94 miles an hour. The count is 3 balls, 1 strike. So a runner on second with nobody out. Bottom of the 6th, 3-2 Cardinals. Coming set is Leahy from the stretch. Here's a 3-1. Fouled straight back off a slider, up and away, and the count is now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Allen, bullpen ready. I would imagine so. Back onto the bump is Leahy. Leading off second is Buxton. Coming set is Leahy at the Birds. Here's a 3-2 to Clemens. Ball 4 on the changeup, down and in the dirt. And now the Twins have runners on first and second with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th inning. So another jam that Leahy has to try and work out of here. That drives up pitch counts. To say nothing of them being more strenuous pitches overall. Great block, absolutely. Like I said, he seems to be coming around defensively as he gets more comfortable up in the big leagues. It's really a pleasure to watch. Coming sets Leahy. Here's the lefty Bell. Called a strike on the changeup, down and away. And it's being challenged here by Bell, an ABS challenge. Twins have both of theirs, and I think he's going to win it, honestly. And indeed he does. And the count, it goes from 0-1 to 1-0. It missed by a lot. They're not even giving you the distance. You could drive a truck through that. Sideways. Looking in is Leahy. He comes set at the stretch. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Here's the pitch to Bell. Fouled back on a slider, down and in, largely off the handle of Bell. George Soriano and Gordon Graceffo are both up in the pen getting hot for the Cardinals. They both appeared in yesterday's game, the finale out at Citi Field. Here's the 1-1. Hit out to right field. Going back, looking up, and it's off the top of the wall. And chasing it down is Jordan Walker. Coming around third is the runner, and 2 runs will score. No, they keep Cody Clemens at third. Oh, my goodness. And it's still now a tie game. It's runners on second and third. I am absolutely shocked that they kept him there at third. Oh, my goodness. That thing in pretty much every other ballpark of the country that doesn't have a wall that's basically half the size of the Empire State Building would have been out. And the idea that he couldn't score from first on it is actually quite incredible, but here we are. Runners on second and third with nobody out. We are all tied at 3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. And there is definitely a powwow out there in the mound, and here comes Ollie Marmol. Let's see who he's going to. He's making the slow walk out there to the mound in Kyle Leahy. He has not yet signaled. And apparently he doesn't like doing it physically, so let's find out together. You're getting your wish, Justin. All right, let's see who comes running out. Coming in is the righty George Soriano in relief of Kyle Leahy. He will inherit runners on second and third with nobody out. Both of the runners, both second and third, are Leahy's responsibility. Should they score, it will be charged to him. No, don't worry. It's definitely not Roycroft. Don't worry. Good old I take my pitchers out, 2 batters, too late, Ollie Marmol. I feel you, Justin. They're scared of our outfielders. Yeah, they have a lot of respect, clearly, for Jordan Walker's arm. Leahy had hard luck tonight, Samuel. Yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, he held it together for quite a while. And, he went 5+ innings. So, I mean, that's a thing. It's longer than his last 2 starts, to be sure. And at this point, it's 3 earned runs, unless either of these 2 on second and third score, in which case that would be charged to him. So we await the pitching change. In comes George Soriano, who I think it was put best in the comments yesterday. He's all right. I think that largely kind of sums it up. I have said it before, he keeps them in too long. He does have a long leash at times. All right, we're almost done with this pitching change. We are back at Target Field. It is all tied at 3 with runners on second and third and nobody out. A tie game in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Twins are trying to catch the lead here. Lewis is going to be due up, followed by Caratini and then Lee. It's a righty-righty matchup. George Soriano comes set at the belt. Righty-righty matchup. Here's a pitch. A ball upstairs. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. 27 2/3 innings pitched, a 2.93 ERA, a whip of 1.12 for George Soriano. The infield defense is playing in even with the bag. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fouled down the first base side and out of play on the sinker away, and the count is 1-1 strike. Royce Lewis, with runners in scoring position, hitting .158. No home runs, 9 RBIs. It is Lewis. Yeah, Lewis. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a fly ball out to left center field. Underneath it is Nate Church. Attempting the tag there from third is the runner. He is coming home, and he will score, and that will give the Twins a 4-3 lead on the sacrifice fly and RBI, and the first out of the inning. The runner remains at second. So that run will be charged to Leahy. He has 4 earned runs tonight. That was an inherited run coming in there by Soriano. Now here comes the lefty Caratini. He's 1 for 2. Runner on second with 1 out, bottom of the 6th inning. Come and set Soriano, righty-lefty matchup. He deals. Just missed low and away with a changeup, clocked at 88 miles an hour. The count is 1 ball, no strikes. Correction. There we go. Come and set is Soriano. He deals. Strike, slider right down Broadway. Middle at 87 miles an hour. That's dangerous stuff right there. And the count is 1-1. I'm back. Good to see you, Max, and good to see you, Ethan. Runner on second with 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning. It is 4-3 Twins. Already 2 in. Here's the pitch. Check swing on the 4-seam fastball up and away. He did hold. They didn't even bother appealing. Came in at 97 mile per hour 4-seam fastball. Victor Caratini, 1 for 2 with a double, 217, 3 home runs, 23 RBIs through 50 games, a 618 OPS. Runner leads off second. And time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Caratini. And the count remains 2 balls, 1 strike. Coming set at the belt is Soriano. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Chopped to the right side. Fielded on a couple hops there by Wetherell. He throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. The runner will advance from second to third on the play. And now, here comes Lee, the third baseman, and it is starting to rain again. Hopefully it does not get in the way here. Joe Ryan went 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Now here is the lefty. Come and set Soriano. He deals. Hit out there to left field. Coming in is Newt. He makes a sliding feet first catch for the third and final out of the inning. So the Twins push 2 across. They have the lead heading to the top of the 7th inning. It is 4-3 Minnesota up at Target Field in Minneapolis. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers game mic. Yeah, the rain is definitely picking up, Sam. So we'll see how long they can outlast this one. We have to get those runs back. Absolutely, Justin. No question whatsoever. Due up, Crooks, Blaze Jordan, and Nate Church. So 7, 8, 9 in the order, which indeed has gotten much, much more formidable over this last week. Bats need to come alive. Yeah, they do. I'd be very surprised if Joe Ryan came out there because he was over 100 pitches. So chances are that the Twins are going to the pen here. Indeed they are. It is the lefty Taylor Rogers, which in some ways makes a lot of sense because Crooks is left-handed, Blaze Jordan obviously hits right, and then you get Church who's left, then Weatherholt who's left, and you don't get back to a righty until you get to Ivan Herrera. So Joe Madden is doing the thing most managers would do in this case. I feel like we always play bad after day games. You might be right. I have to look back on that. But whatever the case is here, with the rain, the Cardinals need to get something going here, and quick. Otherwise, they just might find themselves on the losing end of a less than full affair. All right. Looks like the lefty Taylor Rogers is out there on the mound to face the lefty Jimmy Crooks. Top of the 7th inning, it is 4-3 Twins. Into the box is Crooks. Lefty Rogers, he deals. Out and away, a sinker for a ball, and the count is 1 ball, no strikes. Coming set at the letters is Rogers, he deals. Sinker out and away, 92 miles an hour for a ball. The count is 2-0. I watched a Brody Brazil video. Stand by. Taylor Rogers, 26 1/3, a 4.78 ERA, a 1.48 WHIP. Here's the 2-0. Up and away, a sinker well out of the zone. The count is 3-0. And he ranked the MLB backstop and said that he doesn't like that there's so many ads. I actually like looking at the ads. What's my opinion? Coming set, the 3-0. And it is called ball 4, challenged immediate there by Caratini behind the plate. So we have, I think, an ABS challenge here. Let's see the call. And it's overturned. It's called a strike, and it's now a 3-1 count. Well, who am I to refute Brody Brazil? You know, it's funny you mention him. I remember finding him when he only had like a little over 1,000 subscribers. In fact, he was very, very helpful in a lot of production elements that just watching the many videos he did that you see on screen now. Jimmy Crooks is 0 for 2 with a line out and a fly out. Lefty-lefty matchup. It's a 3-1 count. Rogers comes set. He deals. Ball 4, and so Crooks now takes his base. And here comes Blaze Jordan for his third at-bat of the night. What's my opinion? In some places, it's gotten out of hand because they have these huge LED ones. They can constantly change them, and they kind of dominate the screen in a lot of ways. Now, here's Blaze Jordan, lefty-righty matchup. A sweeper down and in for a ball, 79 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Is the game to be postponed from rain? No such call to my knowledge has been made yet. In fact, it looks like the rain is somewhat lightened up. I think they want to finish this thing out, if they can. Leadoff walk indeed, Sam. Now there was a brief powwow on the mound between Rogers and Caratini, but he's heading back behind the plate, and Blaze Jordan is getting back into the box. The Cardinals want him to be great for so many reasons, but the marketing possibilities with that name, Blaze Jordan. Coming set, here's the 1-0. Foul tipped off his foot on the sweeper up and in. 78 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Runner on first with nobody out. Lefty-righty matchup. It's a 1-1 count. Here's the 1-1 to Blaze Jordan. A sweeper away off the plate, 77 miles an hour. The count is 2 balls, 1 strike. Blaze Jordan, he's 1 for 2 with a single and RBI. Coming sets Rogers. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fouled away over towards the Twins' dugout. A sinker up and away, clear out of the zone. And that's kind of part of his MO, is that while he doesn't strike out much, he doesn't walk much, he also has a tendency to go after pitches out of the zone. And maybe that means he's a bad ball hitter. I do not yet know. It's a 2-2 count. Coming set is Rogers. He deals. A sweeper well down and in and out of the zone, 80 miles an hour. The count is 3 balls, 2 strikes. There is a runner on first with nobody out following the leadoff walk by Jimmy Crooks. On deck is the lefty Nate Church. Coming set is Rogers, the 1-2 pitch. Gets a piece of it, fouled it down the third base side and out of play. And the count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. That was another one that was very much out of the zone. So it's interesting to watch this all in real time with Major League competition, to say the least. Back in the box is Jordan. Coming set is Rogers. The 3-2. Hit down the third base side and foul on the sweeper in, 78 miles an hour. And the count remains 3-2. Yeah, I was actually mentioning Blaze Alexander, Ethan, for the Orioles there. Coming set at the letters is Rogers. The 3-2 pitch. Bunched out, strike 3 on a very generous call on the inside corner. Jordan is not challenging it, even though he probably should have. Let's see on the replay there. Ooh. Maybe it got a piece of the plate. I was not terribly impressed with that call. Now here is Nelson Velasquez. He is pinch hitting for Nate Church, which I think means that Newt will end up moving to center field and they'll put Velasquez out in left. There's a runner on first with 1 out. There's a real player. Yeah, Blaze Alexander is a real player. He's a middle infielder for the Baltimore Orioles. Another little powwow there with Rogers. Well, not another. It's the first for Rogers, but the second this inning. With a runner on first with 1 out. Top of the 7th inning. It's a 4-3 Minnesota lead. And into the box is Nelson Velasquez, the right-handed hitter. He's pinch hitting for Nate Church. Undoubtedly, Marmol wants the lefty-righty matchup here. And the rain is starting to come down with a little bit more intensity again. Let's see where we get with this. Coming set at the letters is the lefty Rogers. First pitch to Velasquez. Strike, sweeper right down Broadway. Clocked at 77 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. Nelson Velasquez in 8 games is hitting .364 with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 3 extra base hits. Coming set is Rogers. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swinging strike on the sinker up and away, 93 miles an hour. And the count is 0 balls, 2 strikes. The one thing that we generally do know, however, about Velasquez is that he does tend to punish mistakes in the strike zone should Taylor Rogers make one. We'll see what happens. Coming set is the lefty Rogers. He's ahead in the count 0-2 with a runner on first with 1 out. Here's the pitch to Velasquez. Fouled down the first base side on a sinker. Count remains 0-2. Well, Roar, with him it is always possible. The infield defense is largely back in kind of a modified double play depth. Runner leads off first. It's an 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swinging strike 3. He swings on a sweeper well up in the zone and right underneath it for the second out of the inning. So I am curious how much the rain coming down is beginning to obscure the batter's sight of the pitch, because it is picking up again. Now, here's J.J. Weatherhold. This will be his 4th at-bat. He's 1 for 3. Lefty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. He shows bunt, pulls back, and it's a sweeper off the plate called a ball, 78 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. So, the runner is down there at first. A strikeout, a single, and a strikeout looking here for Weatherhold. Coming set is Rogers, the 1-0. Called a strike. Fastball, outside corner, about thigh high. More of a sinker, apparently. It kind of is 1-1. Rogers comes set. The pitch to Weatherholt. Well inside a sweeper that actually just ended up missing the inside corner, but it is ruled a ball, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike. 20 pitches so far for Rogers in relief. Once again, this is a lefty-lefty matchup. Coming set at the letters is Rogers, the 2-1. The same pitch in the same location, called a ball. Sweeper up and in, clearly misses the plate. Even J.J. Weatherholt slightly bails on it, not with his bat, of course. Just looks like he felt like he had to get out of the way of the thing. The count is 3 balls, 1 strike. So Weatherholt's in that classic hitter count. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Called a strike, challenged immediately by Weatherholt, and he has every good reason to do so there. That thing was high. And let's see what the ABS has to say about it. Oh, my goodness, that thing missed by like 6 or 7 inches above the strike zone there. And so now the Cardinals have runners on first and second with 2 out. Now here comes Herrera. Jimmy Crooks is out there at second. Coming in is Orzi for the Twins. So Joe Maddon's going to the pen. The right-hander, Eric Orzi, 28-year-old, 6'4", 205 pounds. In 27 games this year, he's 2-2 with a 4.55 ERA through 31 2/3 innings pitched. 28 strikeouts and a whip of 1.42. It's an interesting choice by Maddon. Delta Leader. The umps are being ridiculously generous tonight. It's annoying how the Brewers keep on winning, keep the pressure on. Yeah, they are a formidable force who are playing very well right now, but luckily for the most part, so are the Cardinals. I mean, that would be my first instinct too, Sam. We'll see if we get to that point. Yeah, as I mentioned very early on in this game, he had a very generous strike zone. You just kind of got the feeling like, a lot of ABS tonight, huh? A lot of successful ABS tonight. So we await the end of the pitching change. Orzi's coming on in, the right-hander for the Twins. Coming up with runners on first and second is Ivan Herrera. He is 1 for 3 tonight. Yeah, 1 for 3. But the rain is coming down. We shall see how much baseball is going to be played from here. The Twins at the moment, even with the one-run lead with the rain, essentially puts them in the catbird seat at the moment. All right. Orzi is on the bump with runners on first and second with 2 out. And it's a righty-righty matchup with tonight's DH for St. Louis, Ivan Herrera. Common sets Orzi. Here's the first pitch to Herrera. A curveball misses off the plate away, 83 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. The Cardinals definitely need some hitting with runners in scoring position here, desperately. Here's the 1-0. Hit out in front of home plate, just bounced up to Caratini there on the outside corner. The count is 2 balls, no strikes. There we go. Let's go Herrera, definitely, Dwayne. Coming set is Orzi. It's a 2-0 count to Ivan Herrera. Here's the pitch. Hit on up there to short and through the hole. Well, he stops him at second, and they try to get the fourth at second. Weatherholt, is safe, and now the bases are loaded with 2 out. This was a bizarro play. The ball was clearly looking like it was going into center field. The shortstop makes an incredible stop there. Tries to throw to the second baseman to get the force. He is safe at second. However, since the ball did not go into the outfield, the runner has to stay at third by way of Jimmy Crooks. And now the bases are loaded with 2 outs here. Righty-lefty matchup for Alec Burleson. Coming sets Orsi. Here's the pitch. A splitter down and in and out of the zone, 86 miles an hour. And the count is 1 ball, no strikes. Oh, what an incredible play there. Bases are loaded with 2 outs, a 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Well upstairs, a slider, 89 miles an hour, and the count is 2-0 to Burleson. Oh, boy. Infield defense heavily shaded towards right. Outfield defense straight away, the 2-0. And an excellent play there by Caratini. The splitter down and in bounced. He managed to get a backhand stop on that thing. Had he not, it would be a tie game. It is a 3-0 count to Alec Burleson with the tying run not 90 feet away in the person of Jimmy Crooks. Righty-lefty matchup, coming set is Orsi. Here's the 3-0. Ball 4, and we are tied at 4. Alec Burleson with the RBI walk, and we are all tied at 4. Oh, Alec Burleson. He's doing it with his bat. He's doing it with his eye. We are all tied at 4. Oh, that was absolutely wonderful. Now, here comes the pitching coach and the entire infield to have a little chat with Orsi because they want to keep it right here because none other than Jordan Walker is coming to the plate. And we've seen the Ninja in this situation before this year. Is Walker any better? Man, he's putting together a candidacy for MVP. Yeah, he's a lot better. He has totally turned his career around compared to his first 2 seasons. He's fantastic. Okay. 19 comeback wins this year for the Cardinals. They're behind the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Braves, and they're tied with the Brewers. Bases loaded with 2 outs, a tie game. Here comes Jordan Walker, righty-righty matchup with the righty Orsi on the mound. He deals. Strike, slider on the outer third, about thigh high, 90 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. The pond is full of ducks, Thurman. Coming sets Orsi, the 0-1. A slider away for a ball, 90 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. So for the whole breaking ball away and Jordan Walker thing here, they have to be very careful about that because they can get away. So they have to skirt a very careful line. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fouled straight back on the four-seam fastball up and in, 93 miles an hour. And the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. You don't need a slam, a double will work. Yeah, I'm in the same page here, Thurman. Heck, even a walk would do. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Jordan Walker. He steps out of the box briefly. The pond is full of ducks. The Cardinals have the second highest average in the league with the bases loaded this season, 370. Only behind the Brewers are hitting 395. Geez, that's like having Ted Williams every time someone's in scoring position. Coming set is Orsi, the 1-2. Foul back on the slider away. Just gets a piece of that one, does Jordan Walker. And the count remains 1-2. Small ball wins games. Yeah. And that's coming from a guy who came up watching an American League team. I've always been more of a traditional National League play kind of guy back when the pitcher could still hit. But coming sets Orsi, the 1-2 pitch. Hit to the left side and into left field for a base hit. At least 2 runs will score. Coming home is the second runner. Coming around third is the other runner. Here's the throw. Here's the play. And he is safe. He is safe. A 3-1 double. And the Cardinals have a 7-4 lead. Oh, Jordan Walker, keep walking. And the Cardinals now have pull-ahead treble with a 7-4 lead. Oh, my goodness. That was a bases cleared stand-up double by Jordan Walker. MVP. MVP. Let me hear it in the chat. Oh, Jordan, keep walking. Oh, there might be a replay on that third run. But who cares? No, there isn't. Now, here's the pitch to Nootbaar. Four-seam fastball strike on the outside corner. Excuse me, folks. I'm just trying to get over a heart infarction. Walker leads off second. It's an 0-1 to Nootbaar. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. Foul down the third base side on the four-seam fastball away. And the count is 0-2. MVP from Sterling. Now, nobody can ever be quite that valuable, but he's worth gold to Cardinals this team and the entire Cardinal Nation, to be sure. Coming set is Orzi. Here's the 0-2 to Nootbaar. A splitter in the dirt, clear out of the zone. The count is 1-2. Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate that moment of levity here. It's a 1-2 count. Newt is 1 for 3 tonight. Runner on second. Coming sets Orzi, the pitch. Splitter, strike 3, right down Broadway. Newt gets caught in the observatory. But not before the Cardinals go ahead and put up a 4 spot in the top of the 7th inning. The RBI walk by Burleson. And then the 3-run bases clearing double by Jordan Walker. It's 7th inning stretch time up at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm Paul D. And if you're enjoying my call of the game here on Game Mike, please do leave a like. It's very much appreciated. It helps the growing channel out a ton. You want to see more of that? By all means, hit subscribe. We'd love to have you aboard. And with that, me here, you there. 7-4 Cardinals going to the bottom of the 7th. That was nice, wasn't it? Wasn't that nice, folks? Cardinals are gritty and competitive this year. I had to step away for a part of the game. Maybe I missed the rain delay, but how's the new guy Blaze doing? His first major league hit was an RBI. He's doing pretty well. This team is clutch. You know it. Thanks for doing game, Paul. Hey. Well, Carl, I'm happy to do it. Thank you. So nice. You got that right for life. Orioles fan here, which can be a struggle. I understand. Fire Phoenix, maybe. Ohtani's MVP for the Dodgers. That's why I said our MVP. Hey, the fact of the matter is, at least this is how I view it, right? Ohtani is just the only other thing you can compare him to in terms of his skill set and what he does is part of Babe Ruth's career when he was both a pitcher and a hitter. I'm not saying he's Babe Ruth, but I am saying he is doing something very unusual. Now, here's the righty Gordon Graceffo in for relief. 33 innings pitch, a 1.64 ERA. That's pretty darn good. A 0.88 whip, 4.64 Ks per 9, a 43% ground ball rate. Now, here's the lefty Gray. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Bottom of the 7th. Here's the first pitch from Graceffo. Hit to the right side. Fielded down a couple hops by Witherall. He throws to first in time for the first out of the inning. So Graceffo comes in, gets 1 pitch, 1 out. Okay, bullpen, do your job. You know it, Thurman. You know it. Walker has decent fly ball velo, though. Yeah, the exit velo there. That does mean something. That and the launch angle, I think, is actually kind of interesting, too. All right, here's the righty Kershaw. He's 0 for 2 tonight. It's a righty-righty matchup with the righty Graceffo on the mound. Coming set is Graceffo. He deals a slider away for a ball, 90 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Yes, bullpen, attack. Roger Baseman, MVP. Tucson, Arizona's always in the house. He was born in the house. Coming sets Graceffo, the 1-0. Strike, sinker on the inner third at the knees. Challenged immediately there. Looks by, Kershaw. I think this will be a strike. I think he tapped his helmet for an ABS challenge, and indeed he did, and it is absolutely a strike. So the Twins lose one of their 2 ABS challenges remaining in regulation. The Cardinals still have both of theirs. It's a 1-1 count to Kyle. Righty-righty matchup. Nobody on with 1 out. Coming set at the Birds is the ready Graceffo. Here's the 1-1 pitch. A curveball away in the dirt, 83 miles per hour. Actually, it was a nice little stop there by Jimmy Crooks. Luke Kyle, the second baseman, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. He's hitting .245 with 1 home run, 21 RBIs, and a .631 OPS this year. Coming set at the Birds is Graceffo. The 2-1. Just off the plate, a 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, and the count is 3 balls, 1 strike. 150 likes, everyone. Nice work tonight. Thank you so much for life. You're awesome, man. Coming set is Graceffo. Here's a 3-1. There's ball 4 on the slider, down and way and in the dirt. So Graceffo gives up a 1-out walk here. So Kyle will find himself on first. And Larnack, the left fielder, the lefty, steps into the box with a runner on first with 1 out. It'll be a righty-lefty matchup with the righty Graceffo on the mound. He is in relief of George Soriano. And stepping off the rubber there is Graceffo at the request of Jimmy Crooks so they can go through the pitch selection again, clearly. Coming set at the Birds is Graceffo. Righty-lefty matchup. Runner on first with 1 out. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball to center field. Going back in front of the track. Underneath it is Jose Fermin, and he tosses it on in for the 2nd out of the inning. Okay. So what Ollie has elected to do is keep Newton left, and after the pinch hit with Velasquez, he takes him out of the game, who is pinch hitting for Nate Church, and he puts Jose Fermin in center field. Now, here's the right-handed hitter, Byron Buxton. He's 3 for 3. He's given the Cardinals nothing but headaches tonight. Runner on first with 2 out. Here's the pitch. And it gets past Jimmy Crooks, and the runner goes down to second. In all fairness to him, I would think it will actually be ruled a wild pitch. It bounced out in front of the plate, ricocheted off of Jimmy Crooks. It was a wild, it looks like, sweeper that went over the lefty batter's box, went way up in the air, and now the runner is at second. It's a 1-0 count. It's clearly ruled a ball. Coming set is Graceffo. The 1-0 to Buxton. Right down Broadway with a sinker strike, 95 miles per hour. Middle on that one from Graceffo. The count is 1-1. What are those Twins unis? Roger, I have no answer for that question. I was thinking the same thing. Coming set is Graceffo. He deals to Buxton. Called a strike, sinker, down and in. Challenged immediately there again by Byron Buxton. This is the final remaining ABS. It's very close. Let's see. And it just missed there on the inside corner. And that'll bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. So the call is overturned. The Twins retain their final ABS challenge. Count is 2-1 with a runner on second and 2 out. Coming sets Graceffo. It's a 2-1 count. Runner on second with 2 out. He deals to Buxton. Swinging strike on the slider, down and away, 90 miles per hour. The count is 2-2. That's by far the best slider that Graceffo has thrown all night. Runner on second with 2 out. It's a 2-2 count. Graceffo comes set at the Birds. He's at the stretch. Here's the 2-2. Check swing on the curveball down the way. Did he go around? No, says Blue down the first baseline. And the count is now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, with a 3-run lead here at the moment, if you're going to have Byron Buxton up, I guess this is the time, but Graceffo comes set at the Birds, the 3-2 pitch. Ball 4 on the slider, down and away, and that'll put runners on first and second with 2 out. Alrighty. Ohtani might be league MVP, but Jordan Walker is ours. Very well put, Max. Ollie Marmol's going to the pen, and you know who he's going to? The strongest, most powerful blonde mullet in baseball. Here comes Ryan Stanek. So we have ourselves a pitching change. I swear to God, Stanek is basically Samson. If he ever cuts that thing, nobody has it. We are all in a bunch of trouble. For me, it's like Jose Akendo 2.0. That's actually a really cool comparison there, Fire Phoenix. Come on, Cardinals, you know it. My boy Stanek, heat incoming. Yeah, you know it, Justin. To start a season in baseball, 9, I am 7-0 with 12 home runs, 287 average, 516 slugging. Ethan, who are you playing for right now? Because you've made casual reference to you actually playing, in addition to a very bold statement that I respect immensely, which is, remember my name, I'm going to make it to MLB. Who are you playing for right now? And if you are, what's your position? Alrighty. Wrong pitcher to come in now. We'll find out, Alan. We'll find out. Who remembers Tommy Pham? I think probably most of us. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So runners are on first and second with 2 out. It is a 7-4 Cardinal lead. Now, here's Ryan Stanek. In his 15 games since April 30th, a 1.29 ERA. Opponents are hitting 146 against him, a whip of 0.93, 6 walks against 15 strikeouts. Most powerful blonde mullet in professional sports. Now here's the lefty Clemens, who's 0 for 2. Come and set Stanek, the first pitch. Strike, four-seam fastball, outer third at the knees, 96 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. It's a righty-lefty matchup with the lefty Clemens on the bump and the righty Stanek on the mound. Coming set is Stanek. Here's the 0-1. A splitter down and in the dirt. Nice stop there by Jimmy Crooks. Clocked at 89 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Hi, Subway. Nice to make your acquaintance. Welcome aboard. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. A 1-1 count. Coming set Stanek. Here's the pitch. Head out to right field, going back, looking up, and it is a tie game, a long home run off the bat of Clemens, and it has tied the game at 7. Oh, boy. Talk about a bullpen implosion. Alan, you get the the gold medal on there first guessing that one. You are not wrong. It is a 7-7 game. Well, folks, it's a late-inning slugfest in a game that has periodically either been delayed by rain or threatening delay by rain. No, Alan, like I just said, I give you full credit, man. You first guessed it. That's the only guess that really matters. Four-seam fastball up and away to the lefty Bell. Count is 1-0. His 1 for 3 night includes a double. Coming set Stanek. He deals. Fouled off on a check swing up and into Bell. Goes over towards the Cardinal dugout. The count is 1-1. This bullpen has been deeply inconsistent. You know, it's always cross your fingers. Here's the 1-1. Fouled down the third base side and out of play on the slider. And the count is 1-2. All tied at 7, folks. This one is teetering back and forth. Coming set at the Birds is Stanek, the 1-2. A splitter down and away for a ball, 91 miles per hour. Actually, a nice little stop there by Jimmy Crooks with the ball in the dirt. The count is 2-2. Oh, it's a baseball video game. Okay, I understand now. Here's the 2-2. Just missed off the outside corner. Challenged there by Jimmy Crooks. I don't think he has a very good case. I think it missed the zone. So if it's overcalled, it's a strikeout looking. If it's not, it's a full count. And it definitely missed. It is a full count. And it missed by 1.5 inches. So the Cardinals now have 1 ABS challenge remaining in regulation, just like the Twins. Coming set is Stanek. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the 3-2. Hit to the left side. Fielded there by Blaze Jordan. He picks it up, throws to first in time for the third and final out of the inning. However, the Twins tie it up after that long home run to right center field by Clemens out of the right hand of Ryan Stanek. Not so powerful blonde mullet tonight. We are all tied at 7 going to the top of the 8th inning. I'm Paul D. And if you're just joining me here, thank you all so much for spending part of your Friday night with me. I always appreciate it a great deal. And if you are new here and you like my call of Redbirds action, please do leave a like. It helps this channel out so much. I can't even really describe how important that is, in addition to my eternal gratitude. You want to see more? By all means, hit subscribe. This is a growing community of not just Cardinal fans, but baseball fans that keep coming out and hanging out and watch Cardinal baseball or listen or, whatever works for them every night. So we'd love to have you aboard. With that said, all tied at 7 going to the top of the 8th. Our pitching is way too streaky for playoff contention. If the playoffs started today, I would generally agree. Luckily, there's a ways to go. All right. Delta Leader, I hate to say this, but get O'Brien out there next inning. I never thought I'd say that. It's been rough. Thurman, you got a good eyeball. Thank you, Thurman. Cards team batting defense. Pitching. Barf emoji. Sometimes. Go Twins, Buck Truck. Hey, we got a Twins fan in our midst. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Subway. Ryan Stanky. Yeah, certainly tonight. 310 viewers, only 153 likes. Come on, get with it and like the stream. Justin Beasley doing Justin Beasley things. Good stuff, YT. Blaze Jordan home run incoming. Hey, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if he was the difference in this game? All right, we are out here for the top of the 8th inning. Yoendrys Gomez, 32 1/3 with a 3.9 ERA. Here's the first pitch to Win. Fastball in the outside corner called a strike. Four-seamer, 95 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. You have Win followed by Crooks and then Blaze Jordan. Coming set is Gomez, the righty. Here's the pitch. Up and away, well out of the zone, 95 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Mason Win 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. He's been in the mix deeply tonight. Coming set is the righty Gomez, righty-righty matchup. Here's the 1-1. There's a fly ball out there to shallow center field. Underneath it is the second baseman. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So a shallow fly out there by Mason Wynn. Now here comes the left-handed hitting catcher, Jimmy Crooks. Yesterday, he deposited a 2-run home run to right center field out at Citi. Coming set is Gomez. Righty-lefty matchup. Here's the pitch. Cutter, strike, outer third thigh high. Clocked at 91 miles an hour. Count is 0-1. Jimmy Crooks is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. He got the party started when the Cardinals took the lead most recently. Here's the 0-1. Well upstairs, a cutter, 91 miles per hour. That was helmet high, luckily nowhere near his head. Count is 1-1. There is nobody out. There's one out with nobody on. It's a 1-1 count to Jimmy Crooks. Coming set is the righty Gomez. He deals. Hit on up the middle and through for a base hit into center field. So Jimmy Crooks on first yet again. And that's a 1-out single for the left-handed hitting catcher for St. Louis. Now, here comes the Rook. The young man at 24 who's making his major league debut. I believe he's 24. The right-handed third baseman just made the trip up from AAA Memphis. It's going to be a righty-righty matchup. Blaze is 1 for 3 tonight with the RBI. Jimmy Crooks is on first. Coming sets Gomez, righty-righty matchup. He's come set at the belt. He deals. Foul down the first base side and out of play on the four-seam fastball up and away, 95 miles an hour. The count is 0-1. Coming set is Gomez. The pitch. Swinging strike on the four-seam fastball up and away out of the zone, 96 miles per hour. Count is 0-2 to Blaze Jordan. Jimmy Crooks leads off first. There's one out with one on. It's an 0-2 count. The righty Gomez comes set at the belt. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And it gets away there from Caratini. Moving up to second is Jimmy Crooks, and it will definitely be a wild pitch and clearly ruled a ball. And the count is now 1-2 So Blaze Jordan has a runner in scoring position with less than 2 out. Let's see what he does with it. And that looked, I don't even know that was a breaking ball because of where he released it on replay. He just held on to it a bit too long. Caratini looks less than enthused by the outcome. Blaze is from your hometown. Poe the Dragon Warrior, welcome aboard. Now, it would appear that Jimmy Crooks is going to have a pinch runner in the person of Brian Torres, so he's now down at second. It's a 1-2 count. Coming set is Gomez. He deals a sweeper away out of the zone over to the lefty batter's box, 84 miles an hour. The count is 2-2. So Torres is the pinch runner for Jimmy Crooks down at second. Ollie Marma wants to make sure that run scores, that ball gets to the outfield on the ground or on a line or however. Here's the 2-2. Foul tipped off his left shin on the four-seam fastball away. And he's trying to walk it off, but it definitely did not look like fun. South Haven, Massachusetts. Or is that? No. South Haven, Mississippi. Okay. Played against him in high school. Oh, cool. That's actually really neat. Comes set is Gomez. Here's the 2-2. Hit to the right side and through the hole. Into base hit. Into right field. Holding right at third is Brian Torres. The right fielder was playing rather shallow, and he most definitely had a quick beat on it. Had Brian Torres attempted to come home, he would have been out by probably 20 feet, assuming the throw was on line. So, Blaze Jordan has his second hit of the night. He just puts it through the hole in right field, rather on the right side of the infield. And the throw home was fantastic. It got there on one hop. Brian Torres wouldn't have had a chance. So runners on first and third with one out. Now here's Jose Fermin. He's hitting 261. Will be a righty-righty matchup. All he needs to do is hit a decent fly ball, and there can be a sacrifice fly and an RBI to give the Cardinals a lead. So they have a runner in scoring position with less than 2 out. Runners on first and third. Jose Fermin is in. Here's the pitch. Sweeper down and away out of the zone. And the count is 1-0. Runners on first and third. Infield defense playing even with the bag. Slightly shaded towards left. Here's the 1-0. Strike, four-seam fastball on the outside corner at the knees. 94 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. So this is a traditional proper nail-biter, folks. Fermin is in the box. Looking in is Gomez. The righty comes set. It's a righty-righty matchup. Runners on first and third with 1 out, so 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. Hit to the left side. Stopped there by the shortstop. He can't get the ball out of his glove, and everybody's safe. And it is an RBI infield single for Jose Fermin, and the Cardinals take an 8-7 lead. Oh, Jose. Ho. Keep cranking, my friend. Keep cranking. It went to the shortstop who was playing in. He had to dive far to his left. He came to his feet, couldn't get a handle at the ball. He was trying to get the force at second, couldn't get it out, couldn't get the handle, and now an infield single for Jose Fermin, and that gives the Cardinals an 8-7 lead. Back and forth tonight. This has been quite something here. Now runners are on first and second, and Joe Madden is going to the pen. Going to Banda. Anthony Banda, the left-hander, 6'2", 221 pounds at age 32. So far this year in 32 games, he's 1-0 with a 4.66 ERA, 29 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.24. And it makes all the sense in the world that Madden would choose to go to him in this spot, especially when you consider you have the lefty Weatherholt is coming up. He's followed by Herrera, but then you have Burleson, Jordan Walker, then Nootbaar. So, you know, that's largely the game they're playing at the moment. I thought the Cards would do a suicide squeeze, but I'll take it. It's not too far off, I can tell you that. I was originally not a fan of Fermin, but this year he's done everything they've asked him. Yeah, they really have. He is a utility player in his own right, but, you know, with a great deal of utility. Oh, boy. Nice response, boys. Let's get more. Oh, yeah. Now, JJ needs to get us another one. Oh, I know he's thinking the same thing right now. Fermin is a great asset to this team. He's not useless at the plate, and he can play multiple positions on defense. Yeah, he's really been something. All right, Anthony Banda, I gave you the stats on his jog in. He is all ready. It's going to be a lefty-lefty with J.J. Weatherholt at the plate, who himself already has a hit and an RBI. Runners on first and second with one out. The Cardinals now have an 8-7 lead in the top of the eighth with one out. Coming set is the lefty Banda. Lefty-lefty matchup. He deals. Just missed on a slider on the outside corner. Rightfully called a ball. The count is 1-0. As you can imagine, given the very liberal strike zone tonight, I've been a little hesitant to be quick on the trigger. Coming set is Banda. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Called a strike, up and away, a slider, challenged immediately there by Weatherholt, and it was a very good challenge. I'm calling this one a ball. Let's see what the ABS challenge has to say. Oh, God. The umpire, I have not seen anything like this year. 1 point in each is how much it missed by. You know, I know they're human beings, but there's been a lot of ABS challenges tonight. Common sets to lefty Banda. It's a 2-0 count. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped on the slider away. Got a piece of Caratini's inside of his thigh. The count is 2-1. Rex Hudler? Yeah, but I remember him more as a commentator, admittedly. Runners on first and second with one out. It's a 2-1 count. Lefty-lefty matchup. In the box is J.J. Weatherholt. He's 1 for 3. Coming set is Banda, the 2-1. Hit to the left side and into left field for a base hit. Staying right there at third is Blaze Jordan. And now the bases are loaded with only one out in the top of the eighth inning. And here comes Alec Burleson with the bases loaded. And you might recall last time he came up, he also had the bases loaded. He had himself an RBI walk. Yeah, J.J. Weatherholt just kind of served it the other way, kind of an inside-out swing. Oh, excuse me, Ivan Herrera's at the plate. My apologies. It's a lefty-righty matchup. Another good guy to have up. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball just behind first base. Underneath, it's the second baseman. He makes the catch. The infield fly rule was in effect. So the second that thing went popping up, it was the second out. Now here comes Alec Burleson with the bases loaded and 2 out. Thank you for picking me up there, Sam. Alec Burleson, a home run, a couple of strikeouts, and that RBI walk. He has a couple RBIs tonight. Bases loaded with 2 outs. A lefty-lefty matchup with lefty Burleson at the plate. He deals well outside a slider, 85 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. Burleson's jersey is all dirtied up, like any good ball player should be. Coming set is Banda, the 1-0. Fouled towards the third base side on the slider away, 86 miles an hour. The count's 1-1. Absolutely, Cobra. I hope so, Alan. I hope he does come through. Coming set is the lefty Banda. Lefty-lefty matchup. It's a 1-1 count to Burleson. He deals. Swinging strike on the slider, down and away. Swung over the top of that one, did Burleson. And the count is 1-2 strikes. Back onto the bump is Banda. He's ahead in the count, 1-2 strikes. Coming set, he is just below the letters. The pitch. Hit on out there to center field. Going back a few steps is Byron Buxton. He's camped underneath it. He makes the catch for the final out of the inning. And despite missing what could have been a much bigger opportunity offensively, the Cardinals do indeed take an 8-7 lead going to the bottom of the 8th inning up at Target Field in this first of 3 up in Minnesota this weekend. So after 7.5 innings of play, it is the St. Louis Cardinals 8 and the Minnesota Twins 7. I'm Paul D, and this is Bombers Game Mike. Well, JH, based on what you've told me and based on what I've seen tonight, it's no surprise. It is absolutely no surprise. However, the question is, how much do we trust the Cardinals bullpen to protect this 1-run lead late? I think you're right, for life. They can win this. At the moment, Stanek is still the pitcher that is in for the Cardinals, so no indication yet where Marmol will go with this. Yeah, hopefully they don't, Cobra. I have a feeling we'll see Swanson. And that would definitely be an incredible gesture of trust on the part of Ollie Marmol. But we await the action to continue in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Ryan Stanek is coming out for his second frame of work. Due up here is the righty Lewis, followed by Caratini, and then Lee. It's a righty-righty matchup, bottom of the 8th inning. Here's the pitch. Head out to left field, going back, looking up, and that is really long gone. That is a huge solo home run there by Royce Lewis to tie the game at 8 on the very first offering from Ryan Stanek. So I suppose our question has been answered. The game is all tied at 8 in the bottom of the 8th. Oh, boy. I'm not sure when that thing's going down. It's like the International Space Station might need to look out for debris. Oh, he hit that well up into the most, right in front of going into the highest section in left field at Target Field, and that's a long way from home plate. Now here's Caratini, the left-hander. He's 1 for 3. It's a tie game, followed by that huge solo home run by Royce Lewis. It's a righty-lefty matchup. Coming set at the Birds is Stanek. He deals. Called a strike on the 4-seam fastball, down and in. Challenge immediately by Caratini. Ruled a strike. We're getting an ABS challenge here. This is the last one available to the Twins. Let's see the outcome. and it's indeed a ball. So the call has been overturned, and the count is now 1 ball, no strikes. It missed by 0.3 inches. Not a great night for the home plate umpire. Coming set is Stanek at the Birds. Here's the 1-0. Just missed a four-seam fastball away to the lefty. The count is 2-0. A strikeout and a double and a ground out tonight for Caratini, in addition to his duties behind the dish. Coming set is Stanek, the 2-0. Hit to the right side and fielded on the ground there by Wetherall. He throws to first, and he gets Caratini at first. That was a fantastic play by J.J. Wetherall. He is in shallow right field, gets a foot first sliding stop, manages to get up, and then put a solid throw over there to Burleson at first to get the first out of the inning. It was a full extension there. There's now 1 out. Rookie of the Year offense right there. Here's the pitch. Foul down the first base side on a slider into the lefty Lee, and the count is 0-1. This is the game that will not quit. We are all tied at 8 in the bottom of the 8th. Nobody on, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Hit down the left field line and out of play on the fastball. Up and away, and the count is no balls, 2 strikes. Oh, is that so, Justin? I can't wait till, I believe it's pronounced Cinte, I think, gets to the majors. That's going to be a show. Coming set Stanek, he deals. A splitter that bounces out in front of home plate at 90 miles an hour. The count is 1-2. Yeah, JJ has been everything and more. Here's the 1-2 pitch. A splitter down and away, clear out of the zone, 90 miles an hour. The count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. No, JJ Wetherall, it's like he's been here for several years. He just fits, and you don't even question it. It's like you don't think of him as a rookie. Here's the 2-2. There's a pop-up going out behind the Cardinal dugout, and it ends up well out of place. The count remains 2-2. Sinche? Maybe. Stanek looks in. He comes set at the stretch. Here's the pitch to Lee. Head out to right field. There it goes. And an absolute no-doubter solo home run. And that will give the Twins a 9-8 lead. Oh, Ryan Stanek. Ooh. Talk about stinking up the joint tonight. This has not been fun to watch him pitch tonight. My goodness. That's the 3rd home run he's given up in this outing. And it was down and into the lefty there, Lee. Right there in that natural swing path for the left-handed hitter. And he deposited it beyond the stands on the very high wall in right at Target Field. So it's a 9-8 Twins lead. There's still 1 out with nobody on. Here's lefty Gray. He's 2 for 3. Here's the pitch. Hit out towards third. Fielded on a hop there by Blaze Jordan. Throws to first in time for the 2nd out of the inning. So Blaze Jordan showing a little bit of defensive promise there on what was undoubtedly a difficult play. He had to charge coming in onto the grass, get it on a hop, throw it while his momentum was going away from first, but he gets the runner. And now there's nobody on with 2 out. Tell me about it, Max. I know. All right. Now here's Kershaw. Here's the pitch. Foul down the first base side and out of play on the 4-seam fastball up 98 miles an hour. And the count is 0-1. Woo. A lot of energy expended doing this one tonight. But it's great. I would like the Cardinals to come back ahead here and Stanek to really right the ship, but Kershaw, the righty, he's 0 for 2. 21 pitches so far from Stanek. He comes set. It's an 0-1 count. Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back on the 4-seam fastball up and away, 99 miles per hour from Stanek. And the count is no balls, 2 strikes. Stanek should Unfortunately, play went up 10. Based on his performance tonight, you're not wrong. Coming set is Stanek. The 0-2. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes, says the home plate umpire. It's drop right. Cooks throw to first towards Burleson to record the strikeout and the final out of the inning. However, the solo home run gives the Twins a 9-8 lead going to the top of the 9th inning. The Cardinals got last lick. These are their last 3 outs. Let's see if they can do something with it. Really, the kind of the incredible thing is when you look at Stanek's numbers overall this year, he has an ERA of nearly 5.5. A lot of that came earlier in the season. But right now, he's not exactly inspiring confidence in anybody. So leading off in the top of the 9th for the Cardinals are guys that you would pretty much choose in this situation. Jordan Walker, Lars Nootbaar, and Mason Wynn. 4, 5, 6 in the order. So right, left, right. Is this going to be one of those comeback wins the Cardinals have become known for? I don't know. I wish I knew. But right now, they have their work cut out of them for them going to the top of the 9th here. Alrighty. Coming in for the save is going to be Andrew Morris, the right-hander. In 20 games this year, he's 1-2 with a 5.28 ERA in 29 innings pitched. 31 strikeouts, so better than a strikeout an inning, and a whip of 1.69. Andrew Morris, the right-hander, coming in the save situation to face Jordan Walker, then Lars Nootbaar, and then Mason Wynn. Walker bomb incoming or Nudie. Hey, I'd like to see it. Paul, you owe us a whistle. The Cardinals pitching staff owes us the whistle, man. I'm just pressing buttons. I'm just kidding with you, Justin. Alrighty. Here we go. Here's Jordan Walker, top of the 9th, 9-8 Twins. Here's the pitch. Four-seam fastball strike, down and away, 96 miles an hour. The count is 0-1 to Jordan Walker. The righty Morris is in to try to nail down the save. Righty-righty matchup. He comes set at the letters, the 0-1. Up and away, a four-seam fastball for a ball, 96 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the 9th. It is 9-8 Minnesota. Here's the 1-1 to Walker. Hit on out there, fielded on a hop there by Morris. He undertows his hands to first, and he makes the play for the first out of the inning. So just a bit of a number out there in front of the pitcher's mound. Morris is able to pick it up and underhand toss it to the first baseman to get Walker for the first out of the inning. Now here comes Lars Nootbaar, the lefty, making it a righty-lefty matchup. He's 1 for 4. A single, line out, strikeout, swinging and looking. Nobody on with 1 out. Top of the 9th. 9-8 Minnesota. Coming set is a righty Morris. He deals to Nootbaar. Strike, four-seam fastball right down Broadway, 97 miles per hour. The count is 0-1. Coming set is Morris. The 0-1. Swinging strike on the cutter in. Swung over the top of that one, did Newt. And the count is no balls, 2 strikes. Morris comes set. Newt's back into the box. Here's the 0-2. Check swing on a sweeper down and away. Did he go around? No, says Blue down the third baseline. So Newt is able to hold up on that one, and it is a 1-2 count. These are the last opportunities for the Cardinals. There is nobody on with 1 out. Coming set. Time is granted by the home plate umpire at the behest of Nootbaar. The count remains 1-2. Morris comes set at the letters. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Chopped over to the right side, fielded there by the first baseman, takes it to the bag himself for the second out of the inning. So a ground out to first by Newpar, and the Cardinals have 1 out remaining if they're going to stay in this game. And here comes Mason Wynn. It'll be a righty-righty matchup. Mason Wynn is stepping into the box with 2 out and nobody on. It's a 9-8 Minnesota lead in the top of the 9th. Here's the first pitch. Four-seam fastball down and away for a ball, 98 miles an hour. The count is 1-0. A single and 3 pop-outs for Mason Wynn tonight. Common set is Morris. The pitch. Hit to the left side. Fielded there on the ground by the shortstop. He throws to first in time. And that is your final. The Cardinals drop a disappointing 1 late. Mostly off of the deficiency in pitching from Ryan Stanek, unfortunately. And Minnesota captures a 9-8 victory in this first of 3 this weekend up at Target Field. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, of course, but I can say thank you all so much for spending part of your Friday evening with me. I will be back tomorrow. Here's the brief programming note. So tomorrow's game starts at 1:10 p.m. Central Time. The play-by-play stream here on Game Mike will begin at 1 p.m. Central Time. So scheduled first pitch is 1:10 p.m. Central. The stream begins at 1 p.m. Central. And I hope to see so many of you there. It's really been an absolute pleasure. Can't play the victory tune without a victory, unfortunately, but hopefully the Cardinals can snap this brief 2-game slide that they're in, get back into this series with the Twins. I know, everybody. It is not a fun loss. That was back and forth and this and that. Unfortunately, over 162, we're going to get a couple of these. Thanks, Paul. Another well-called game. You got it, Thurman. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Thanks a lot, Paul. Have a good trip to New York. Seems like you'll be in town for the big Knicks win. Actually, yeah, now that you mention it, that's actually, if they do end up winning, and I obviously hope that they do, that's going to be quite the party. It's been a long time since the last time they did that. White Shadow, have a good night, fellas. Thanks again, Paulie D. You got it, my friend. Justin Beasley, good night, chat. Good night, Paul D. Safe travels, my friend. I really appreciate that, Justin. I hope you're well. 2 hits for Blaze. Good for him. Thanks for this, sir. All the best. You got it, Chris. You absolutely got it. Dallas Cowboy fans for life. Good to see you again. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Paul. Good call. Really the best gig in the world. You got it. We'll get next game. I like how you think, David Hodge. I really do. It's good to see you tonight. Ethan, my record is down 6-4. Yeah, that is. That ruined my night. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Max, but it was good to see you. I hope you're well. Well, everybody, I got to get rolling because, well, today is going to turn into tomorrow very quick for me, but I'd like to thank everybody for showing up here, spending part of your Friday night with me. Oh, John, here. Good night, everyone. Get rest, and we will be back tomorrow. Great job, Paul. Have a safe trip with your wife. Thank you very much. Mrs. Game Mike and I do appreciate it a lot. Charlie, good night. Paul, another great broadcast. I'll be back when you're back. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, man, but it's going to be audio only. All the best to everyone. Go Cards. Cheers, Chris. Dwayne, everybody who enjoys this, give Paul multiple thumbs up. If you haven't yet, you get YouTube likes. Cheers. Avalette, Cardinals Nation. Cheers. This has been a production of Bombers Game Mike. I'm Paul D. I hope you are well wherever you may be, both you and yours. Signing out, I'm Paul D. Bombers Game Mike. Over and out.